All right. Welcome to Nostalgicast, your weekly roundup of the best and most up-to-date nostalgic news where we discuss the stories and give our thoughts. I am your host, who builds a lie around this fallen idol, Andrew Price. When Gotham is in ashes, then Tyler Palo has my permission to die. Ah, you think Kelby Joseph is your ally? You merely adopted Kelby Joseph. I was born in Kelby Joseph, molded by Kelby Joseph. I didn't see Kelby Joseph until I was already a man, and by then it was nearly nothing but blinding. And Dad Beats, a.k.a. Kirkman Sean.
Dad Beats!
Oh, we gonna break that cup, man.
Is Bane German?
This is a Yeti. Unbreakable.
When did Bane become German?
Yeah.
I don't care how much you guys criticize this
Who's in The Mandalorian? What's that guy's name in The
That
Mandalorian?
he's good.
Oh, like I Have Spoken guy?
It sounds nothing like Werner Herzog.
Mixed with the guy from Django Unchained. What's his name? Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz and Werner Herzog together.
Yeah, you got
That's
a
who
little
you're
Christoph
doing.
Waltz, but just a little dash of Mike Myers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Unlike you guys, I don't find value in cutting other people down. I find the value in other people and push them up and compliment them.
The compliment rises.
That's never been a true thing from you.
That's literally that we did an episode where I went around and complimented everybody.
What have you done for us lately?
If you
sounded that episode was bad.
If you think back and really concentrate in all the ball busting I've ever done to you over the years, I've never criticized anybody's skill at anything because talent is so important to me that even joking around, it's off limits to me to make fun of people's skills and talents.
All right, Bane is his talent.
Being the bane of my
I was
existence.
you know what? I was gonna say something, but I'm not going to now after Andrew said that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Andrew's the most talented person in this block radius, city block. There's no need to pander to him, guys.
What you mean you just did?
You know what, Andrew? Your Bane is wonderful. However, our market demographic says that they're not in the market for Bane ATM at the moment. So
I don't care what they're in the market for.
dang it.
But a Bane ATM? Are you sure you want to? Get
Although
that
I
one?
will. All joking aside, I will admit that was not my best. I kind of got off into like a weird.
Oh, you definitely
German
got off.
thing.
Yeah, we got off into a German thing.
Yeah.
Okay, at
Because
least
I was
you
doing a
know.
German accent the other day, and like I couldn't get it out of my head.
Could we hear that though?
You just did.
No, I
have this joke with my friend where because they Dark Horse the comic publisher, they have all these different comics that they are sort of like they're cash cows. Like they used to have like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all these things, and there was a stint where like they kept losing all these publishing deals because they lost the Star Wars license because whenever Disney bought Lucasfilm, and then they lost Buffy. And so me and my friend had a joke where for some reason in our minds, the CEO of Dark Horse was this little German boy in lederhosen. And we just had this joke where he would be sitting in his office, like staring down at his feet and then look up and go, "At least we still have Hellboy." I don't know what that was just the.
I do like the
that was
thought
the thing that we used to do.
If we could all just agree that Star Wars 1 through 3 being DC canon completely makes sense now. If DC made those movies, dark, broody, dumb bullshit, that makes a lot of sense. The prequels with Hayden Christensen.
Oh yeah. 100%. Now I get you. Yeah, I got you.
So before we get to the stories, we got to come back to this. We got to revisit a story that we talked about on last episode.
Don't call it a comeback.
Call it a comeback.
Oh.
Specifically, call it a comeback.
Go call it a comeback.
Last
Because
episode,
that's what it is.
last episode, we talked about how it was rumored that Rick Moranis might be returning from his seclusion to be in the reboot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, titled Shrunk. And since then, it's been confirmed. Rick Moranis is officially returning.
We did
I
it.
wonder what he looks like.
We did it specifically.
Is it exciting? Is it as exciting as him returning for Strange Brew 2?
What is Strange Brew?
Oh, Strange Brew is a classic.
Whoa.
Strange Brew is an early 80s Canadian movie that he did from his SCTV character, the Mackenzie brothers.
Yeah. And it was those two like beer drinking Canadian guys who were like, oh yeah, take off.
Yeah, take off, hoser.
Him and Dave Thomas. But then the movie is also just a weird remake of Hamlet.
Weird. It's a bizarre
It's
movie.
it's Hamlet.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's Hamlet. About a beer brewing company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty genius.
So how are they going to do?
It's one of those Square record players on its side. The kids are listening to.
Why do you think he's coming back?
I don't know. I guess maybe. I mean, it's probably just as simple as like just this time when they asked him, he just said sure. Like, it's probably just as simple as that.
Because I hear he
that.
left because of his children, right? He
Yeah.
wanted to be a full-time dad.
Well, because his wife died.
Right. And so he wanted to just like devote his life to his kids, but I'm sure at this point his kids probably in college.
Yeah, that's
or
what I
I
was
something.
mean, they're probably
This
way
is
grown.
probably.
Well, I mean, because they just asked him to return to Ghostbusters like not that long ago, and he said no to that. So there's literally months between the last time he said no and then this. So what the reason is for why he decided to say yes, maybe there's some deeper reason, but it's probably not. It's probably just like they just happened to catch him on a good day, and he just said okay.
In Shrunk, I imagine he's going to be the lead.
Well,
and in Ghostbusters, he would just be a returning.
that's what nothing's
character.
been confirmed about what he's going to do in Shrunk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
it could
like-
be anywhere between he's a main character to like he just has like a cameo.
Do you think this is a right move? Because this Shrunk is going to be a kids movie.
Well,
Is it a
Yeah, I
TV
mean
show?
as much of a kids movie as the original ones were.
yeah.
Okay. So it appeals to us
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
There was-
I love I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Oof.
I'm all right with.
I don't
bad
know
beat.
that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different movie. It's like even though it's in the same franchise and it has the same concept of what happens. The movie itself is a completely different type of movie because the first one is like an adventure story about kids like basically lost in a wilderness because they get shrunk in the backyard. And then the second one is like a Godzilla movie where it's a giant baby
the kids are
terrorizing Las Vegas.
All under the
know
auspices
that
of, I did it again.
Yeah.
Like that literally is the scene where he's like, remember when I shrunk the kids? Honey, I blew up the kids.
Yeah.
It's called
There's just a room full of blood eververywhere. Oh no!
And she's like, oh my God, you mean he got taller? No, I
No, I
literally
literally
blew
blew
him.
him up.
He dead.
Oh yeah, like
What?
Sorry.
No, he gets grown.
Yeah, he gets grown.
There's a Whitest Kids You Know sketch like that where a guy has his kid at the park and then all the dads are sitting around and they're like, hey, what's wrong with your kid? And he's like, he's fine. He's like, no, there's something wrong with him. He's just laying there. And he's like, oh shit, I think he's broken. And then he takes him to a mechanic and he's like, my kid's broken. And they're like, let us see. And then they like lay him down and then they just rip him open and just blood starts shooting out. And they're like, wait a minute. This is a kid. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I thought it was a car. And he's like, I told you it was a kid. And he's like, oh, well, he's dead now. And then he goes home and he's like, hey, honey. And she's like, oh, what's going on? He's like, I killed the kid. And she's like, oh my God. You know what I did? My parents were visiting. I picked him up from the airport, took him out to a pizza restaurant, put him in the oven and cooked him. And then there's like, we're just a couple of scatterbrains. And that's the end of the sketch.
Zoinks.
Love it.
Alrighty.
But anyway, no, he grows to a giant baby, and then he's basically walking around Las Vegas destroying things.
It's called Bloop, B-L-O-O-P.
Blue.
Oh,
Honey, I blew up the kid.
Oh,
Honey, I
got it.
blooped the kid.
Okay, I
Wait,
thought you said something.
I want to see the bloop.
Honey, I
one.
blew.
Yeah.
Honey, I blooped the kid.
Honey, I
That's what he
blooped.
said. Bloop
It's
the
like
kid again.
every scene, the kid acts like he's doing a blooper reel. Like he can't help but just pretend that he's in a blooper reel.
This has got so many possibilities.
Yeah, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids is nowhere near as enjoyable as the first one, and then Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves also just nowhere near. I mean, the first one is just it's an epic adventure story,
Yeah,
and then
it's fun.
the second and third one are just like an A for effort for them trying to like put a new spin on
Yeah.
it and not just do the same thing over and over again. But they're just not anywhere near as
That's
good.
not as fun.
Well, shout out to Rick Moranis. He's missed.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Definitely.
So, first story, not necessarily surprising. Probably all saw this coming. But Aladdin 2 is officially happening. But it's not based on the animated sequels. We're not getting a return of Jafar.
Wait, so because of the age difference, I'm assuming you guys know the sequels very well, and that they're straight to video, right?
Yeah, there's Return of Jafar, which is the second one, because at the end of the first Aladdin, he tricks him into wishing to become a genie.
Yes.
And then he traps him in a lamp.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, I forget exactly. I used to have it on. I mean, I still have it on VHS. It's somewhere in my parents' garage or something like that. I forget how it starts, but basically, the second one is like he's still a genie, but he somehow gets freed or something, where he like. Oh, he gets a master who is like evil or something. Yeah.
Ooh.
And so it's like them basically against this like all-powerful genie Jafar. And then the third one is the Prince of Thieves, and it's about Aladdin's father, who's like the Prince of Thieves.
Oh.
And it's interesting because the first one, the Return of Jafar, that one like basically kickstarted Disney's like massive straight-to-video sequel thing.
Oh, because it blew up.
Because it was
huge?
so successful. Like it was like a huge success in terms of like VHS sales. And so they basically just after that movie came out, they just made sequels to straight to VHS sequels for all of their movies. It led to them almost making a straight to VHS sequel to Toy Story, and Pixar didn't want to do it because they're at the time their policy was no sequels.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're not doing that. So Disney was like, all right. And then they fired Pixar. They severed ties with them. And then they were going to make Toy Story 2 on their own as a straight to VHS sequel. And then while they were making it, it got so difficult to do because they had no experience with doing the CGI animation.
Yeah, only Pixar could do it.
So they were like, hey, Pixar, can you please do this? And then Pixar was like, we need a lot more money.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right. So they gave them a bunch of more money. So then they started working on it. And then in the process of working on it, they were like, fuck this. We're going to make a real movie. And then they made Toy Story 2, which is regarded as the Godfather 2 of animated sequels.
That's great.
Toy Story 2 is fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
So,
But they're not going to be based on that. It's just going to be an original sequel that's just, spun off of the first live action Aladdin movie.
Well, at least that guy's getting work again.
Will Smith?
No.
The one
guys-
who
the
said he
guy-
hasn't gotten any work.
Hired a pair of writers to pen a script that is an original story and not based on any of the animated sequels. According to news reports from Variety, Disney has hired John Gattens, who wrote Flight, and Andrea Berloff, who wrote Straight Outta Compton, to write the script for
That's
Aladdin
a great
2.
Flight is
With
the
Denzel?
Yeah,
That's a
it's a great
great
movie.
This is going to be a
That's
fantastic,
a great duo. Putting them together. I mean,
fantastic sequel.
This is going to be the blackest Aladdin ever.
and Denzel could be in it.
oh,
Aladdin
shit.
struggling.
me.
Aladdin struggling with
fault.
alcoholism.
He's the Prince of Thieves.
He flies the carpet upside down, and then the Sultan is like, "You were drunk, weren't you?" I was actually just reading the script for Flight the other day because I got my box of screenplays out of the garage, and I was reading Flight.
Is it true that they're in the margins? It's just written. Maybe he does cocaine here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all the script is. They completely. That's all he wrote, and then they just completely improvised the whole movie.
That's all.
What?
Oh,
Come on, Kelby. Come on.
are you okay?
Can we do a little ASMR?
You're a year older, but not a year
Barely.
wiser.
Nah, not at all, man. I'm black. I don't age for another 10 years.
Kelby's birthday yesterday.
Yay!
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
pour one out
Pour
for
one out for Kelby's age.
Hey.
One less year.
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, there's going to be a movie written by the writers of Flight and Straight Outta Compton, which I mean, not the blackest movie ever, because I mean the writer of Straight Outta Compton is a white woman, so
It's a big surprise for me.
That's nasty, but okay.
which is odd. I thought that was so strange
Yeah.
whenever I read that they were making a NWA movie and it was written by just a white Jewish lady.
Hey, she knows our voice.
Yeah, who knows it better than her?
She has her finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. I didn't expect to hear about an Aladdin 2. But it makes sense. As soon as you said that, I just saw how much money it made. And I remember looking it up, around, I think maybe the third week. And I was just like, well, damn. And I wondered if it was the fact that people liked the movie or if it was because of Will Smith. And I'm not 100% sure because
Will Smith.
I don't know, because Bad Boys didn't do that. But
Do you think that Suge Knight will commit vehicular manslaughter on the set of Aladdin 2?
if he doesn't do that, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
It's facts.
That's the secret behind every great movie is that Suge Knight
What?
ran.
I'm sorry. I'm lost.
Suge Knight, he's in prison now because
Yeah.
he killed a guy on the set of Straight Outta Compton.
No
and
lie.
at a Chris Brown party.
He ran over a guy with his car on the set of the movie because he was like on the set consulting,
Suge Knight's crazy.
and there was like some guy that talked shit to him or something, and he just ran him over and killed him.
Yep. He's at LA County. Anyways, yeah, I would go watch it. I enjoyed that first Aladdin movie. It was really good. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was entertaining.
I didn't see it except for, I think we talked about this on an episode, but
Yeah.
I saw the Prince Ali musical sequence, and I thought that it was just like kind of boring.
Yeah,
It's like,
I can't. Prince Ali.
When he rides the elephant into the town.
Got it. Yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
don't remember it because you're
No, I
picturing the
remember-
cartoon version.
I remember it because I'm forgetting his name was Prince Ali. I thought you were talking about the other guy, the bad guy. Yeah, those kind of sequences. But there are parts of the movie where they kind of go into a cartoony type thing with Will Smith.
So I wonder if they'd have to do all new music then.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, they would. Yeah.
They're gonna
Because
hypnotize
that's the
the
thing is
kids.
also, even if they did do the Disney animated sequels, none of them were musicals.
Oh, they weren't?
Yeah, they didn't have music in them.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because probably
That's
cost
a
too much
budget,
money
yeah.
to write songs and record them and stuff.
So they don't even. But there's no news of who's going to be doing the composing of that or the.
No,
songs.
that's all. It's
Hans
just
Zimmer.
the writers, and then Guy Ritchie is returning to direct. Which is so bizarre. To
It's
me.
so bizarre that he directed
I love
Aladdin.
it. I love it. That was like the chase scenes were one of the best parts.
At that,
He's
I
good
can
at chase
also-
scenes.
He's good at
it's really
chase
good
scenes.
chase
Chase
scenes.
scenes on an obvious set.
My favorite Guy Ritchie movie is Revolver,
Oh, I thought you were just going to say Rock and Roller.
Did he do
not Rock and Roller.
what's two
Lock, Stock,
Lock,
Two
Stock,
Smoke-
and Two Smoking Barrels?
Yeah, Lock,
Yeah.
Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was great.
great.
Snatch is great.
Snatch is
Snatch
great.
is fantastic.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is really good.
Underrated.
Yeah, very underrated.
Really?
I didn't see King Arthur.
Oh no.
Obviously, it flopped, but
I like King
I like Guy Ritchie, so I've always wanted to see it. I just haven't gotten around
He's
to
got
it.
that new one,
good.
The Gentleman. With,
I heard that was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good
I
too.
want to see
Yeah.
that.
I
But,
like it. I haven't seen like a revved up Matthew McConaughey that looks like he's gonna do a good job in a movie since the trailer for The Gentleman.
Oh
Like,
come on! You saw him in that Lincoln commercial.
in the Lincoln commercial. You're right.
Driving out in the desert, my mind widens, and I see the constellations in my soul. Buy this Lincoln.
Yeah,
By this Lincoln.
it's pretty much
Basically what it is.
That's accurate. Yeah. Well, shout out to them, Aladdin. Aladdin too.
There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot in the works.
You know what? We don't have enough of those.
Legendary has closed a deal for Ryan and Andy Tohill to direct a reboot of the classic 1974 horror film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The movie. I don't know why that says it.
It's short for picture.
Yeah, I know, but it's so stupid. It's just such a dumb way of saying it. The movie will be written by Chris Thomas Devlin and Bad Hombres Fede Alvarez and Rodolfo Sayagues, producing through their overall deal with Legendary. The Tohill's vision is exactly what the fans want, Alvarez said in a statement. It's violent, exciting, and so depraved that it will stay with you forever. The original 1974 Tobe Hooper movie followed two siblings and three of their friends en route to visit their grandfather's grave in Texas, who end up falling victim to a family of cannibalistic psychopaths and must survive the terrors of Leatherface and his family. Yeah, so they're rebooting this again.
Yeah, so this is the second reboot. The
It's
third.
like, it's like the millionth reboot.
Yeah, like,
Well, it's Leatherface. That movie. There was a movie called Leatherface.
right.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
then-
considered a reboot, or
That
is
is.
that just
That's a reboot, but then there was the
origin.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, like back in the early 2000s.
Yes,
with,
I remember
with,
that.
with Justin Timberlake's wife. What the fuck is her name?
Jessica Biel?
Jessica Biel.
Biel.
I don't know why I forgot that.
Yeah, man.
And then Leatherface, and then like there was also, there's like kind of pretty much reboots like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, which was like in 2012 or something.
Oh,
There's been so many reboots of this movie.
I mean, what is going to be done differently? What are you going to?
They're gonna
do?
use new chainsaws.
Well, I think in the idea behind this one is that they like. So there was like the original run of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was like the first one,
Yeah.
which is regarded as like one of the best horror movies ever made. And then like the sequels, which like got increasingly more kind of like 80s campy. And like they're certainly not as good as the first one, but they sort of have a place in fans' hearts in their own right. And then they like rebooted it, the Jessica Biel one. Or no, before that they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which I love.
Isn't that one? There's one with Matthew McConaughey.
That's
and
Matthew McConaughey and
Renee
Renee
Before they were
Zellweger.
big.
Yeah,
And it was
really
like
good.
it was the first movie since the first one that was written and directed by the screenwriter of the first one.
Oh, okay.
So the guy who wrote the first one, he wasn't really involved with any of the sequels, and then he wrote and directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, and it's fucking weird. Like
Weird,
Matthew
good.
McConaughey has I love it. It's my favorite one.
It's really good.
Matthew McConaughey has a robot leg.
Better than the original?
I like it better than the original.
Wow.
That's kind of like a
Hot take.
That's a blasphemous thing to
Yeah.
say, but I just love it because it's so fucking
Really
strange.
good.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like turns it into this weird sci-fi thing where it defies explanation.
Yeah.
And then like the reboot with Jessica Biel, which like a lot of people like, but a lot of people hate and is like, this fucking sucks. And then like everything after that has just been like shit.
Garbage.
And now the idea behind this is that they're going to like return to form and make like a genuinely fucked up, true to the original.
We're going to go to the
reboot.
roots. And
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Question for you. Bad Hombre, whose company is that? I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anybody like it's not a recognizable name, but they've been involved with a lot of movies recently.
Oh, okay.
It's like an all like Latino owned production company.
Oh, cool.
Based off of the whole.
Oh yeah, this is the thing they're most known for. They produced the Evil Dead remake, and then they produced Don't Breathe, which is directed by the same guy
there
who
you go.
directed the
Okay,
Evil Dead
okay.
remake.
Now I'm like, okay, I know that name. All right.
Yeah, we talked about it because we were talking about the fact that there's going to be a Don't Breathe sequel.
Is Don't Breathe John Krasinski?
No, that's
Quiet,
Quiet
Place.
Place.
Don't Breathe is about a blind guy who has a woman trapped in his basement and
Okay.
two people that are trying to rob his house.
Got it.
Yeah, so they're doing that, and they, like I said, like the Don't Breathe is great, and like I actually never saw the Evil Dead remake, but a lot of people loved it. Like it's nothing like the original Evil Dead movies, but it's like in its own right. It's like a fucked up like balls to the wall like
It's like a
gory
cabin
crazy
fever version of Evil Dead.
horror movie.
Interesting.
So we talked about this several episodes ago, and there's more news about it. So originally we talked about how they were doing a remake of Clue, and Ryan Reynolds was going to star, and Jason Bateman was going to direct it. So Jason Bateman has dropped out, and now James Bobbin is going to direct it. And James Bobbin is he directed the Muppet movies with the Jason Segel Muppet movie.
That was great.
Yeah, I
and
really like
and the
that.
ones after it, which I never saw the other ones. I only saw the first Muppet movie because I love Jason Segel, but I'm hot and cold on Ricky Gervais. So
Oh.
I just really had no interest in seeing Muppets Most Wanted. So Reynolds remains the star attached, while his company will produce the film. And James Bobbin is going to direct it. Reese and Paul Wimmick, who scripted the two Deadpool films, will be writing the screenplay along with Reynolds.
That's a pretty stacked partnership.
I would love to see it if like it was just Clue, but then like Deadpool was just in it.
In it.
Clue starring Deadpool. That would
mean-
be great. I miss that. I would love Jason Bateman to do it because I'm a Jason Bateman fan.
Yeah.
And maybe he would be in it with Ryan Reynolds. So it's kind of like, it's a bummer. But this director, he did the Muppets, so yeah.
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 I mean, I'm not super excited about this because this movie feels redundant with Knives Out.
Yeah.
And like I saw Knives Out and like I fucking loved it. It was my
Yeah.
favorite movie of the year in 2019.
Really?
More than Parasite?
You said that exact.
You're gonna keep saying
after
it.
I saw Knives Out, I said it's my favorite movie of the year, and I think you said even Parasite, and I said I haven't seen it yet, and I still
you
haven't
still
seen it.
So
haven't
since
seen
that
it?
time, you still haven't
You still
seen
haven't seen
Parasite?
I still haven't seen Parasite.
Oh,
that's on you.
I have
You
two
can come-
children, two small children.
No, come on.
I've never seen
They
it.
would love it. They're
a great
smart.
movie.
I don't want to read
They
them.
understand the classes.
The movies. My time where I'm able to watch movies is like while I'm working. Like when I'm working, I'll just put movies on.
It's a 2-hour movie.
But
on
I
an 8-hour
can't.
Day.
I can't watch a movie that's in subtitles while I'm working.
That's fair. That's fair.
So like, it's a situation where it's hard for me to watch foreign films because
Yeah,
I really need to sit and like watch them and concentrate.
Make movies in American.
But aside from that, you're saying it feels redundant because of Knives Out.
Yeah, because like that movie was just basically
Clue. Yeah.
And
Didn't
it's
I say
so
that on a
good.
podcast? You guys
They could
shat on me
probably-
for saying that.
We
No,
just
they-
shat on you in general.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
They can probably do it a different way, just like they did Friends with Benefits, and then like a week later, that other one
No
came
Strings
out.
Attached.
No Strings Attached.
Those are two very different movies, and I will not hear anything of it.
They're both painful.
They're the same movie, but they're done.
One of them is
different
like
ways,
one of them
so.
is Ashton Kutcher,
And then the other's
and the other
Justin
one's Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake, and then like one of them has Natalie Portman, and one of them has
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
You guys are
Mila
the wor-
Kunis-
They're
it's Mila
two
Kunis
different
and Timberlake.
movies.
Mila Kunis and Timberlake and Ashton and
Natalie
And
Portman.
Natalie Portman.
That's so weird.
It's so odd.
I'm sorry, no, I did that
And
wrong.
then-
it's
and then-
Ashton and Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
Together.
And then you have Gyllenhaal and
Maggie.
and Nat and
Heath Ledger.
and Anne Hathaway.
I'm very confused.
Brokeback Mountain is the same as No Strings Attached.
Yeah.
No, they're in that.
And my version.
they're
it
in
is.
that. They're in that one where they hook up. I don't know. It's
I wish I knew how to have casual sex with you.
Again.
You guys really missed the message.
Really
That
did
movie.
listen. Wait, I want to bring up about Clue
Oh.
as a side note. The Clue, the game, I think maybe they revamped the look of it maybe 7 or 8 years ago because we got Clue for the family, but you know how it looks all old and British and stuff?
Yeah.
They redid it so it's all young people in the cards. Like Colonel Mustard is like a young guy in like a tight t-shirt.
It's like, how are you a colonel?
Yeah,
You're
and
12.
All of it, and it's all like good-looking like young millennials from like 2000, and it's all really kind of douchey.
Damn it.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's not my Clue.
Yeah.
One time I won Clue on the first turn.
I hope everyone fucking hated you for that.
Yeah.
Their minds were blown.
But at the same time,
it was a pure, it wasn't like I was good at it. It was a pure coincidence. It was a 1 in a million thing where it was when I was a kid and we were playing, my family was playing it on Christmas Day. Like somebody had gotten Clue and we were all playing it. And we started the game. I was probably in like second grade level. I was homeschooled, but I was in second grade level. And on the first turn, I don't know if I was joking or if I just didn't understand the rules or whatever as a kid. And I just I guessed. I made a guess of who it was. And everyone was like looking around, and then they were like, "Wait a minute, I don't have that. Do you have that?" And they were like, "Are you kidding me?" And they opened up the envelope, and it was right. And I won the game on the first turn.
Nice.
And they were impressed and disgusted at the same time.
No, they were
The
impressed.
first time I watched Clue I was way too old to have not seen it by then, but I was super obsessed with Doctor Who still, and I thought it would be way better if they made this Doctor Clue, and each person that suspected of murder is another iteration of the Doctor stuck in a time loop
yeah.
in the TARDIS.
That'd be a great
basically.
episode.
That would be a fantastic episode, and that's all I
Except
think
for
about
the
now.
Doctor would never kill. He never kills. He never holds a gun.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, and it would change between.
Batman.
You'd have to be the master.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. Is like one of them is the master, one of them is the war doctor, and then one of them is a rogue. You're welcome, and look that up if you don't know what I'm talking
what's
about.
going on.
Never. Oh, yeah.
I don't want you.
Never mind.
That's
Fuck
what
you.
he's here for.
Yeah. Wait, you just insulted me.
I've already explained this. I never said that I don't make fun of people
Don't
and
do
don't
a
insult
victory.
people. Of course I do. I do it all the time. I never make fun of or insult or act disingenuous about people's skills or talents. If you do something, you make a genuine effort of doing something that is a skill or a talent, I would never jokingly make fun of it or criticize it.
It's still hurtful.
I don't think you understand that Kirk is not jokingly making fun of your Bane.
Oops.
No, I'm not saying that he was jokingly making fun of
okay.
it. I'm saying
Gotcha.
I would never make fun of somebody's attempt at doing
Right.
something
Right.
that it requires skill or talent. It's off limits to me.
Well, Clue.
Go.
I did want to see Jason Bateman direct it because I know that he, at heart, is more of a director than an actor. I heard him talk about it when he made Spelling Bee.
Bad words.
Bad words.
Bad Words.
Yeah.
Bad words.
Great
and he
movie.
was
I love
just
Bad
like,
Words.
I'm only acting so that I have a platform so that I can eventually be a director. Wait, you said you like Bad Words?
I love Bad,
Bad
Words.
words is
Really?
great.
I saw
kind of like
I
it.
saw Bad Words before it came out, and then with a Q&A with the screenwriter.
Did he?
That movie could never be made now. I mean, it's not even that old. It's only like 4 years old.
Yeah.
But if it came out now, it would be a huge controversy.
Problematic.
I didn't watch any of it, but I was a part of the publicity for it. I was at a hotel, and they came, like the publicity people came and asked us to hold bad words up on a sign, and they asked to take pictures of us. So I was a part of like a billboard
So
somewhere,
weird.
but I don't have any like pictures of it.
Welcome to LA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I was hoping that this could be his directorial smash through to the, public, especially since he's in. Is he directing Ozark, or he has another show?
That's what I was
he has
wondering,
Ozark.
yeah.
He produces it, and he tends to direct the first and last.
Oh.
of each
There's another
episode.
show too that people are raving about. I'm gonna
Arrested
look it up.
Development.
No.
No.
It's your
I mean,
move.
there's that show where he gets like falsely arrested for like a murder that he couldn't have possibly committed or something.
Huh.
What movie's that?
No, it's a show. It's a show. It's like
It's a show.
It's a show where like I've seen the trailer for it. It's like somebody gets killed and then like they find DNA evidence.
The
that-
Outsider.
that he was there.
He's in that?
He's a director.
This is not The Outsiders.
No, The Outsider.
Okay.
And I guess he's acting in it too, but yeah, he's a director in it.
Doctor said, I ain't ever gonna walk again, not even with crutches. I could never tell if your eyes were a shade bluer or greener, pony boy.
Oh, okay. The Outsiders. Great movie. I read the book. Yeah. I didn't watch it.
How many loaves?
You guys have never seen that? I feel like I've shown you the guy who sent in his audition tape for the
Yes.
the Outsiders.
Yes.
And he's like the worst actor
It's
ever.
so bad. I forgot that's what you were doing until you just mentioned it. And now I'm like, oh, wait, that is genius. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great news for like 4 people in the entire world. They're developing a Rocketeer 2.
Yeah.
It's in development for Disney Plus. The planned sequel to The Rocketeer is reportedly back on track, and Slight director J.D. Dillard is volunteering to direct the project himself. This part is dumb. It's just they announced that they're making a Rocketeer 2, and then this director basically just tweeted like, "I want to do that."
Wait, the director that tweeted, "I want to do that." Got the job?
It's unrelated. They
Oh,
announced that they're making Rocketeer 2. They have a writer, but they don't have a director announced yet. And then like
I'm gonna tweet it too.
this director was just like,
Yeah.
"I'll do it."
I'm gonna tweet
Do
it right
it.
now.
Do
Who,
it.
who am I
Do it.
tweeting? Disney?
Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
As much
At
trash
Disney.
as I talked about Disney.
I will make it my personal goal to not stop until you are not allowed to direct Rocketeer 2.
wow.
I'm
Now,
tweeting. I'm
I
I really
tweeting
don't
them
want to
right
see
now.
people move up.
Are you insulting him on his talent?
No, because he doesn't care about the property at all. I would never allow
Are you
somebody.
one of those 4 people? Is what you're getting at?
I love this movie.
Okay,
this
gotcha.
is,
Sorry,
this is
you
one of
said
my
it like-
favorite movies of all time.
I don't know why they're doing
So
this.
I want them to do it like they were going to do Tomorrowland, but better. Whenever
Tomorrowland sucks.
Tomorrowland sucked, exactly. So instead of a coin, what is this?
Yeah.
Do it.
I won't stop until that is not allowed to happen.
It's a wrap. They just called me.
Everybody.
You lost.
So, what's his name's
As if.
great granddaughter? Because it's been a long time since the Rocketeer came out. The great granddaughter finds like the helmet and the suit and the jetpack. or
That's there's a show that you're literally describing a show that exists. There's a Rocketeer animated cartoon that's literally
Damn it.
exactly what you're talking about.
Tyler, it came out in 91.
Yeah, that's a long time
Are you
ago.
looking
But
forward?
it takes place in the 40s.
That's yeah.
But are
that's
you
what I
looking
mean. It would
forward
be
to
now.
just because you love the original, or you're like, oh, what are they going to do with it?
Both. I mean, because I never really read the comics, but the comics are like kind of their own thing. My friend loves the comics. They're like some of his favorite comics. And he loves the illustrator that created the Rocketeer. And like the comic, like I've flipped through and read the comics a little bit, and they're just amazing. They're just an amazing feat of illustration. The movie is great. I love the movie. I rented it 1,000,000 times at the video store when I was a kid. I watched it over and over again. It's directed by Joe Johnston, who directed the first Captain America movie. And it's just like a near perfect film.
Except that is boring.
It's not boring at all. It's boring. It's not. It's 100% not boring.
It's
You
99%
just
boring.
don't get it, you know.
I feel bad for you because
Yeah.
you don't understand it.
You'll never experience.
It's
the way that we do.
it's a great movie.
Oh, wait, you're showing me that 80% people like this
and
movie?
it's a
60%.
and it's a labor.
movie.
the Google.
And it's specifically a movie that's a labor of love. Like you have to like this movie is great because everybody involved with it just loved the source material so much that they made this just like slavishly perfect interpretation of it.
Did I?
Which is why I would stop at nothing to stop you from directing it, because you don't care about the Rocketeer. You have
You don't
no
even know that.
interest in it at
That's
all.
crazy.
Mindset.
Yeah, man. Imagine I went in there and rocketed it up, man. That'd be
Like
crazy.
you like pitched your idea and they're like, he gets it.
Oh, for sure. It would be Rocketeer 2 starring 50 Cent.
That'd be the equivalent of David Goyer writing fucking Batman and Superman movies.
Man, we just named a 90-something-year-old gonna do Lethal Weapon. Anything is possible.
But he directed the first ones.
All right, so I'm here.
I want you to get the job just so that Andrew can apologize.
That's facts.
So it's going to be a series because it's on
No, it's gonna be a movie.
a movie
There
for
was a
Disney
series.
Plus.
There was a series.
It's a movie for Disney Plus, not for theatrical distribution.
I'm sure it'll be full.
Brigham Taylor is going to be producing. Noah Weinstein is going to be producing. Max Winkler and Matt Spicer are writing the script. I don't know who those are. Oh, no. Back in 2016, it was announced that Disney had greenlit a sequel to the original movie called The Rocketeers, with Max Winkler and Matt Spicer penning a script. But that was put on hold. Now
Thank God.
there's a new thing, The Rocketeer 2, that's being put into production with Azia Squire writing a new draft of the screenplay. Oddly enough, Blake Griffin is attached to play the Rocketeer.
No, he has like every other NBA player. He's got a production company. So
Oh.
maybe he's attached as a producer.
That's cool.
Because he was attached as a producer and star years ago for a reboot of White Man Can't Jump. And it was through his production company, but they haven't done anything with that. Nor should
He
they.
should just be focusing on trying to get that ring.
He's never getting a ring. That's done.
Never ever, no.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it says producing.
The Rocketeer is just one of those movies that's once in a life. Those every couple decades, a movie comes out like this where it's just so perfect and so just made for such a specific type of person, and it completely tanks, makes no money. It's a huge bomb, but for a couple people out there, it's their favorite movie, and it's the Rocketeer, John Carter. It's in that vein of a movie. That's
Disney knows you.
Disney is going to ruin this, and you are going to be so sad because of it.
Unless I
you
get
are
the
so
job.
hyped about the original, and you love it so much. This is going to be real
No,
bad.
I wouldn't
for
be
you.
sad if they made it and it sucked. I would just disregard it, especially because it's just on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be bad. I don't even want the job anymore.
You
Wait. Text again. Say take that back. I don't want that.
Yeah,
job.
never.
No, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm
Tweet it,
going
never
to say Disney Plus. Never mind. I thought it was theatrical, buddy.
Yes. Oh my God, I want you to do that so bad.
I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, this is great.
You're gonna,
And here's what's
Make
going to
sure
happen.
to use the right
20
Twitter account to post that.
Yeah.
I am.
2020 Rocketeer 2 wins an Oscar.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to do this, and then all of a sudden, Disney will be like, wait. Let's talk.
Hold on a minute.
Bring you in.
You're the first person that said anything about wanting to do it.
You just
Hold on a
neg them
minute.
and get the job.
Yeah, he's like, we'll sweeten the deal. What do you want? And he gets the gig just based on that. This is the best thing you've ever done, Kelly. Disney Plus never mind.
I hate it so much.
Yes.
I hate it.
Oh, God, that's great.
Well
done, sir.
Last episode, we talked about how they were doing a remake of Matilda for Netflix. And now it's been announced that they're actually going to be remaking a bunch of different classic Roald Dahl stories. Netflix announced that it's planning to adapt a whole catalog of Dahl's children's stories into animated films and series. The list includes Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Big Friendly Giant, The Twits, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, George's Marvelous Medicine Boy, Tales of Childhood, Going Solo, The Enormous Crocodile. My son loves The Enormous Crocodile, which is the greatest story because it just ends. The Enormous Crocodile ends with an elephant throwing a crocodile into the sun, and he fucking dies. The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, Henry Sugar, Billy and the Min Pins, The Magic Finger, SEO Trot, Dirty Beasts, and Rhyme Stew.
That's
Can we-
billions of dollars.
Do you know what's missing? The best one. I'm sure you know it. Danny, the Champion of the World.
Yeah. I mean, and also like James and the Giant Peach, because I think Disney is making a James and the Giant Peach.
I think they just
remake
made
James
one, right?
and the Giant
Well, like,
Peach.
They're already doing that. That's like an old story.
It's perfect the way that it is, though.
Didn't they remake it in 2011? Oh no, that's something about green giant tree or something like that.
Green Giant.
The
Tree.
Iron
Yes.
I
Giant.
love that movie.
I love Green Giant
Wait,
Tree.
hold on
So
a minute. You said George's Marvelous Medicine.
Are you talking about Jack the Giant Slayer?
No, it's
that's
some
probably gotta
movie
be
from
it.
like 2011 or 2012 where there's trees and leaves. And I know it's a Disney movie. I'll come back to it.
Is it George's Marvelous Medicine Boy or George's Marvelous Medicine and then Boy Tales of Childhood? Because you said
Oh,
George's
yeah.
Marvelous Medicine Boy. and I was like, what?
George's Marvelous Medicine and then Boy Tales of Childhood.
Okay, gotcha.
I misspoke.
George's Marvelous
Put the
Medicine
comma in the wrong
just
place.
sounds like traveling salesman.
I want Danny Champion of the World.
Okay, quick. What is that?
Danny Champion of the World it feels even more British than all his other stuff too, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
It's a story of a widower and his son who live in like this. They live in like a van, and then they own a garage, and they repair cars and vans and stuff like that. And then they find out the young boy finds out that his dad goes out at night and hunts pheasants. I know, it's very British. And then it's this whole thing about like the tradition of pheasant hunting in Britain. I know I'm not selling it that well.
You definitely did not sell this movie.
It's a really good father-son
Oh, okay.
story. That's the main thing. It's really good.
My wife loves Roald Dahl. I mean, I do too, but she's a huge Roald Dahl fan. Fun fact, Roald Dahl, why did I just like blank?
Christopherson.
I just had like a
Cross.
weird brain fart.
Chris Cross, yeah.
Chris Cross.
Oh, Christopher Lee.
Hawking.
Christopher Lee. So
I don't know that one.
you don't know Christopher Lee?
He's like a horror staple, right?
Yeah, I mean he was Dracula in the Hammer
Yeah.
horror movies, and he was Count Dooku in the Star Wars.
Isn't Count Dooku a robot?
No,
Who's the
that's
voice?
General Grievous.
Oh, that is General Grievous.
Count
I'm sorry.
Dooku is Christopher Lee, and he's Saruman in the Lord of the Rings movies.
The movie I was talking about was The Odd Life of Timothy Green.
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought you just where he has leaves growing out of his body.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so Roald Dahl, Christopher Lee, and Ian Fleming, the writer of the James Bond movies, they were all spies in the British military in the 40s and 50s, and they worked together.
I didn't know Christopher Lee was. I forgot about that about Roald Dahl and Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't The Man from U.N.C.L.E. like a true telling of James Bond stories? Like these are like what actually happened or something like that? Like James Bond is fake while the uncle is real, right?
I don't. Is that true? I mean,
Like Uncle
I've never heard that.
is their version of.
I mean, Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a show back in the 60s.
Question for you. You said
I don't know that as a fact.
Yeah.
you said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a part of that?
Yeah, Roald Dahl wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, and then
Love the Great
Willy
Glass
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory combined those two into one.
Do we want to see that?
Yes. Why? Wait. You seem like you have a.
What do you mean?
Do we want to see another one
Oh.
after post the Johnny Depp one?
If they split them up into the two movies that they respectively
I would like to
are,
see them.
yes.
I would like to see them split up. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the two books that they respectively are.
Yeah, because I mean, because the thing is, it's like the Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's a British show, but the Man from U.N.C.L.E. is American. He's like an American.
Yeah. You're messing things up.
I'm messing things up. That is my fault. There's something like what inspired James Bond was a real organization that Ian Fleming was like.
I mean, Ian Fleming was involved in the Man from U.N.C.L.E. He helped create the concept,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
but I don't know what you're talking about with it being like a real.
I'll look into
thing.
it. Bring it up next time.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's so great.
It's great.
Even the Johnny Depp one?
No, Willy Wonka and the
Charlie and the
Chocolate
Chocolate
Factory. Yeah, that's Charlie and the Chocolate
Yeah.
Factory. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the original one with
Gene Wilder.
With Gene Wilder.
You're having a hard time here.
What did you say is the difference?
It's a completely different movie.
So there's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's the original
Gene
one.
Wilder.
Yeah.
And then there's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is
Right.
based on the book, and that's the Johnny Depp one.
They're two totally different things?
Yeah.
Willy Wonka
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was the
concept
first
made
thing.
from-
That's
Yeah.
the thing that everyone.
Wasn't it just a reimagining?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Kind of like a dark, weird version?
No, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was they basically took the two Charlie and the Chocolate Factory books, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. They took elements from both of them. They wrote an original movie that was very wildly different from the books. In fact, it's completely different. It just has the same concept.
Okay.
And they mashed the two stories together, and then it's completely. I mean, Roald Dahl hated it because it was so different than his books, and then it was a musical too, so there was music. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was directed by Tim Burton, it was a direct adaptation of the first book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just taught me something today because I did not know that. I was a little confused.
They
when you
did
told
add
me.
the musical sequences, the Oompa Loompa singing, but otherwise it was an actual adaptation of the book. Whereas the first one, it takes a couple elements out of the books, but ultimately it's like a whole different thing. It's like it's a satire of consumerism.
Yeah.
Is basically what it is.
Oh, I see.
It's not as earnest as the books.
Yeah,
Right.
I love the
Not
first
as
one.
earnest.
And I thought the Tim Burton one was okay. It was.
I never saw
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I'd never watch it again. I have no interest. But no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really care for them to remake those movies.
I want to see the remakes of. I want to see stuff that I haven't seen. So I don't need to see James and the Giant Peach or the
Right.
factory ones. Let me see stuff that from the books that haven't been done.
Anybody know what the magic finger is, real quick? Because that's
This right here.
All right, that was what I needed to quit this job.
Kirk flipping you off.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a
That's what
great
it was,
janitor
yeah.
somewhere else.
Shots fired.
This is too much.
Protecting
But
Todd.
you should, but you should feel okay about it because we're not talking bad about your talent.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this should feel fine.
he called me a great janitor, not a
Yes.
shitty janitor
Wonderful
somewhere
one.
else.
Wonderful one.
I love the thought that you guys just pull the janitor onto the podcast. They're like, fuck it, just put him on.
I would like to see a good adaptation of the BFG because the Steven Spielberg one was not good.
I heard that was bad.
Garbage.
Was it big friendly giant?
Yeah.
It's a big fucking guy.
Cool. So we're going to take a quick break, and then after we come back, we're going to watch a trailer for the movie that just dropped, like yesterday, I think, called The Iron Mask, which is this. We'll watch it when we come back. And we're back. So a trailer dropped
This is
yesterday
ridiculous.
out of nowhere, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" So there's this new movie. It's coming out this year. It's called The Iron Mask, and it stars Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I immediately perk up because
Oh, I like you saying peek up.
I peak up.
Yeah.
I peak.
Oh, I'm about to peak right now.
hard. Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger may be my two favorite actors.
In what do you mean?
Method actors.
Those are my two favorite actors of all time.
Like favorite movie stars?
Fuck Daniel
favorite
Day-Lewis.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay.
That cobbling bitch.
Yeah, like Tom Hanks ain't
compared to
shit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
When you grow,
I got
Denzel could eat a dick.
I actually think I've talked about. I think I've told the story on the podcast before, but just to quickly reiterate it, I went to an event, like a early focus group screening for this movie. I forget the name of it, but it was starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was kind of like the second or third. It was like the second or third movie he had done, like after coming out of acting retirement. It was like this character drama about an Austrian man whose family dies in a car or a plane crash on their way back from Austria. The crash happens because this character played by Scoot McNairy,
Love that dude.
he's an air traffic controller, and there's this thing that happens where he's left alone in the control tower, and he's controlling all these different flights, and he gets confused, and he accidentally causes two planes to be on the same level, and they crash. So he's responsible for it. It's about these two characters, and the Scoot McNairy character, he basically has a nervous breakdown and just becomes like a catatonic, traumatized mess. His wife and son leave him, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger is coping with the death of his family, and it culminates in basically like the Scoot McNairy character starts going to therapy, starts improving, and finally he's like mending fences with his wife, and they're like gonna get back together, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger tracks him down and kills him basically.
Damn,
because it's an Arnold movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not even in like an action way. Like he just shows up at his apartment, and like the wife and the son have just come over, and they're like, "We're gonna try this again." And then he gets a knock on the door, and he opens it, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's just like, "Are you such and such?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "My family was on that plane," and then he like stabs him.
Yep.
Did that movie come out?
A long time ago, years ago. But I went to an early screening of this with Tyler. So he's staying after for the focus screening, and they're asking us questions and asking us to give our thoughts and input or whatever. And Tyler's like, he raises his hand and he's like, "Why don't you just have a different actor?" And I
It was garbage.
and number one,
You talking about Scoot?
no, about Schwarzenegger. First and foremost, the immediate thing is like, I looked over and I was like, Tyler, that is not the feedback that they're looking for. They can't change the actor.
That's not gonna.
They're
happen.
wanting.
This was my first one, guys.
They're wanting feedback on something that they can actually improve. Like, oh, maybe like cut out some of this part or whatever. That's useless feedback. They can't change the actor in the movie. But also it really gave me a sense of like the generation gap of like just how like even with Tyler only being like 5 years younger than me, even that amount of time, it just makes a world of difference in terms of like like our worldviews and like the things that we were raised in, because I just realized like he just has no frame of reference for like there was a certain period in time where like if you were a kid, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the greatest fucking guy ever.
Listen, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger in everything before 1998.
I am.
You know what I mean? Once he
Gonna
did
disagree with
Yeah,
you.
once he did that one where he has a clone that takes over his life. What is that called?
The Sixth Day.
The Sixth Day.
Oh God, yeah.
Garbage after that. You ruin everything about him for people who really liked his movies before when you continue to let him try to be an actor.
But
when
there's
he's
like a
not.
certain there's a
bills to
certain
pay.
time, a certain formative time
Right.
where like when you grew up in that time, like you will watch Arnold Schwarzenegger in anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
think
I grew
that's-
up at that time. I mean, I grew up when he blew up with Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, Conan the
and
Barbarian.
so I was like 13 or something. So I was the perfect age, and I was with him probably until after like Eraser.
Yeah, I liked Eraser.
Yeah, I mean,
Eraser's good. I like
Eraser's
Eraser.
really good.
I'm not
Like-
saying that I would love I love anything he's in or I'd love the movie,
but you're
I
here-
will watch and enjoy
Okay.
anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger or Clint Eastwood in it. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I will
Eastwood
watch
too.
it and enjoy
Really?
it.
Did you watch The Mule?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
but I
there's
wanted to
3
see it.
orgies.
I wanted to see it
He
though.
fucks
It was like
everybody in that movie.
I never. I have
gonna
no.
watch it now.
I have no interest in watching a
Good
Clint
commercial.
Eastwood movie, a directed Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
movie after like I saw American Sniper and I was like, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But if Clint Eastwood's gonna be in it,
Mhm.
I will fucking see it. But yeah, so for me, it's like anything he's in, I don't care. I will fucking watch it. If,
Have you
if
seen
Arnold
this
Schwarzenegger-
trailer yet?
I did watch it.
Oh, you did
So
watch it,
we're gonna
okay.
so anyway, this dropped yesterday, and like I said, Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger might be my favorite actors of all time. So this comes out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And this movie is this trailer.
Don't say no. Don't say no. Let's just watch it.
Let's just watch it.
Let's
But
just watch it.
I'll
Okay,
just
okay,
I'll just set it
I
up.
don't
and
want you to.
I love it. I
see
love it
what-
so far.
what my-
So we're gonna watch this. The movie's called The Iron Mask.
Can you tilt the screen down a little bit? Okay.
So I'm watching this yesterday, and I'm just like, what is happening? You got Jackie Chan playing some like wise old kung fu master. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger playing like a fucking British soldier guy.
Yeah.
He's dedicated to the role, though.
Yeah.
You've got like the man in the Iron Mask type character.
Whoever made
This is
this
like
did
a
the Jumanji
Rosencrantz and
visuals.
Guildenstern for the Man in the Iron Mask.
Something is very wrong.
I don't think this.
From
Is,
the
Oh.
producers of Kill Bill.
I don't think this is for American audiences.
I mean, it's definitely not.
No. This looks amazing.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger looks fucking great.
Holy shit. I have
He's
to
like-
eat every
he's like
word I
70.
just said about Arnold Schwarzenegger because this looks amazing. Come on.
I want to see this so
This
bad.
looks so good. This is what The Last Airbender should have been.
This is just everything that I want.
Whoa. Guys. This looks so good.
Everything that I want. Everything that I want.
I am so sorry for what
Arnold
I just said.
Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan flying around fighting.
Oh my
fucking
God.
kung fu masters flying around. Fucking dragons flying through the air. crazy ass mystical Eastern shit happening.
That looks
It's everything that I wanted.
really good.
This is and to go back to what you said, Kelby. Immediately after I watched this is the text that I sent to my friend. I sent my friend this trailer, the link, and I said, I don't know what the fuck this weird CGI salad cynically cranked out to appeal to China bullshit is, but I want it.
I want it so bad.
It's a movie that is just
I'm here for it.
entirely made to do well in Chinese markets, and I want to see it so bad. I loved every frame of that.
All right, hold on a minute. Kirk, you'll get your moment, but Kelby's about to burst with some real tea over here. Let's hear it.
Go, Kirk.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Let's do that because let Kelby kind of stew in the juices of what he's because it's gonna be
be controversial.
I'm gonna go. I can just go real quick.
Okay.
It looks silly,
Yeah.
and I don't really
course
care.
it does.
I don't really care about it. That's just my opinion. I'm not like angry about it. I'm more confused about it than anything because I've never heard that this was even a thing. So I think it's for China. It's for overseas, but it looks silly, and I don't really want a part of it.
Kirk
Is there
the
another Iron
microcosm.
Mask?
There's the man in the Iron Mask.
Which was it's
That's a Jeremy Irons.
an
Leonardo
Alexander
DiCaprio.
Dumas
Yes.
novel.
Great novel.
The guy who wrote the Three Musketeers
Yep.
books, and it was adapted into a movie in the 90s with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the man in the Iron Mask.
Jeremy Irons and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, it's the Three Musketeers movie. So
Yeah.
Oliver Plath and
Oh yeah.
Gerard Depardieu and Charlie Sheen.
The 90s were great.
Weren't they crazy?
But
All for one and all for love. That's from the first one, but
yeah, this looks too ridiculous for my tastes.
No, I feel bad about everything I said about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't. It confirms a lot about
Oh,
what I
does
said
it?
about Arnold
Does it
Schwarzenegger.
for you?
But I want to hear what Kelby has
Yeah, I
to
really
say.
want to hear what Kelby has to say.
Well,
Uh-oh.
Talk about it.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is acting his pants off. I think I'm happy to see Jackie Chan, but this looks like the biggest piece of crap ever made.
Wow.
This looks so
Wow.
bad and
Justified.
so dumb and so stupid.
Wow.
And just here's colors and and Jackie
Wow.
Chan and just like it's clearly somebody's just like we got to spend this money or yeah or
Kelby.
we got to pay it in taxes. That looks like pure garbage. It in fact looks so bad. It looks like a movie within a TV show that people are like, let's go watch that new Jackie Chan movie, and they watch that.
It looks like if someone said, "Here's a spoof movie," I would have been like, "Oh, that's clever." And
Yeah.
that's-
I feel like-
it feels like a spoof to me.
Yes,
You two are like a microcosm of the Western viewer.
I don't
Like, I think
care.
that's exactly
Yeah,
what
I mean,
they're
it's
gonna
that's
think.
You're
the
not
reason.
smart.
Yeah, the reason why that doesn't really mean anything to me because it's just clearly the movie is just not for you.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
said.
Nah, but you know what? There's something about the visuals to me that seem off. Like it seems like expensive.
Yeah, but you're
cheap
saying
garbage.
you're saying that's what we said, but there's two very clear differences whenever you don't like or not interested in a movie. When a movie is supposed to appeal to you and in your opinion, it fails at what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
That is, I don't like this. When something is not for you, it's a different thing.
I literally said the words, "It's not for me." I literally
But
said
I wasn't even
those
talking
words.
to you. I was talking
Yeah.
to Kelby.
I don't think it's
Well,
not for
Kelby
me.
and I are as one.
Wow.
I don't think it's not for me. I think on a visual end, it looks like a mess.
I think it definitely isn't for you because the
You
reason,
even said that it
the
was-
reason why the movie appeals to me is because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan, and it's specifically because it's ridiculous and insane.
That's
why
fine.
I want to see it.
But okay. Visually, it looks bad.
But I don't.
Visuals
I think
look
that.
I don't
bad.
see how
I
you
thought
see
it looked.
that.
I thought it looked
It
amazing.
looks like a couple steps down from the last Jumanji movie.
and that's why
I
it
think-
appeals to me.
Oh boy. All right. I would still watch it though.
I won't watch it.
I definitely.
I will watch
looks
it,
Fantastic.
but it looks like some fake thing. Like it doesn't. It doesn't.
I mean, it does
appear
look
like a
really
real-
fake,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming that's part of why you guys like it.
100%.
I think
Yeah.
it's supposed to look mystical, and it hits that mark.
Yeah. I also, this is going to sound, in this vein, I don't like Arnold this wacky. I understand that he's played wacky parts. I know I saw Kindergarten Cop. I love Twins.
Not the
Twins is
same.
great.
tumor.
Duma.
But this wacky version of Arnold,
I'm actually here for it. Now
I'm
I was
not
like,
really.
I think I don't want him to do any serious stuff because he can't pull it off. But that was hilarious. I think he's going to be great in that. Just from seeing him say a few things and like,
I mean, I don't
in a
I don't agree
character.
that he can't pull off serious. He was in a movie, which the movie wasn't really good, but he was in this movie called Maggie, which is about a man whose daughter is slowly turning into a zombie. And I thought he was great in it. The movie was not good, but I thought he was great.
I'm okay with his character here because it shows me range that I've never seen from Arnie before. I just think the visuals.
he let you call him Arnie?
That's my guy.
So nice.
No, he's a good dude. But I just think the visuals just look so slightly above cheap, but so far from expensive that it just
That's
takes
what
me-
is appealing
Can-
to it. That's
Yeah.
why I want to see it.
Can you find out like the budget on it, or is it not even released? Because that would be really interesting to me.
I bet
Because
you
if
it's
they
50
made it on the
million.
cheap, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get
I don't
it.
think so.
I bet you
They
it's
probably didn't
50
make it on the
million.
cheap. It's probably super expensive,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
a
and to look
huge
like that.
movie. Like
Yeah.
like the reason why the visuals look like, I mean, that's why it appeals to me. Like it looks like a movie from like 1999, and I'm fucking here for it.
We 21 years off. Oh my gosh. It probably does have a large budget, but I'm imagining that Jackie Chan's taking a big
fucking-
part of it.
Internet isn't working.
Jackie Chan hasn't been the biggest thing in America in a while, so I think this could be a big comeback for him if it is coming out in America or if it's coming out with wide release. Arnold Schwarzenegger just came out of Terminator, which I'm taking a guess that it was a success. So he can
I thought
ask.
it was a flop.
Would they?
Was he?
Would
Was
they
he?
not
Yeah,
put it out in
lost money.
America, but
It did?
still make it
Yeah.
in English
Wow,
and
that's so shocking.
release it overseas? Why would they? I don't
It's
know.
not even
I don't-
on IMDb.
I don't think they. I don't.
This
see
movie
why they
feels
would.
like it's
Oh, no, wait.
not for
Is this
the
it?
U.S.
I feel like it's for the visuals alone. I feel like if you remove like the dragons and the magic and stuff, it feels a lot like the Sky Captain movie. Like the
Yeah, I think
Jude
this.
Law
I think this
movie?
movie.
I was thinking
Sky
more,
Captain of Tomorrow
with
Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow.
I think Angelina Jolie and Leonardo DiCaprio.
What?
Yeah, I think this movie like already came out in China because it says 2019 on IMDb. I think this movie like already came out and then like now it's just coming out in the US.
Okay.
So it must be doing well.
The title of it is Journey to China: The Mystery of Iron Mask, and then it's
Oh.
retitled The Iron Mask for the United States, and it's like written and directed by Russian people.
Do you see?
See, that's
Somebody
how they get us.
Somebody having a
That's how they get
wait.
us.
No, don't say that. It sounds like somebody
okay
got to
saying it.
spend some money real quick, and
We need to. Yeah.
49.1 million.
Yeah,
I
49
knew it. 50 million is what I called it at.
It costs $50 million. Okay.
Yeah.
so far because it has come out already, and so far the cumulative worldwide gross for the movie is $14 million.
Of course it
My
is.
point is proven.
And you know China's a bigger market.
Wow.
The rest of the world is
But again,
ginormous for these movies.
It's in English. Do they
So?
make
They'll put
Pure-
subtitles. They'll put subtitles on.
right? But do they make English movies for the Chinese market specifically? Like, or
Yeah.
wouldn't they just make it in
No,
in
they
the language?
the Chinese, they love American movies. That's
Yeah.
like they
Okay,
like
just-
they don't want to see. They want to see American Western cinema
Yeah.
with like, but like that takes place in China. Like it's a weird thing that they're into.
Yeah, I called it 50 million. Makes sense. I think 20 of it went to paying for the actors. I think 20 of it went to CGI and costuming and all that jazz, and the rest they just spent it on who knows what. But 14 million sound about right. Once it comes to America, it'll make up another 25. And
Oh, I bet you it makes less than that.
I'm
Less than
I'm being
25. You're being
generous.
gracious.
I bet you.
Really?
because
Oh,
it
it's gonna
looks
be-
so bad.
It's gonna be a huge flop.
I will-
but I want to
massive.
see it. So
I
bad.
hope the two of you go see it together and report back on
We
it.
will.
Like, no
we'll
joke.
definitely
I would
make
love.
that
I
plan.
would
Do you
love
see any
that.
reviews?
I was wrong.
What?
Leonardo
Do you
DiCaprio
see
is
any
not in
reviews
Sky.
yet?
But
no, I
Angelina
didn't.
Jolie
I
is in.
didn't.
Oh, he's in it. Okay, yeah.
Let's see.
Is there a movie like Sky Captain and not Catch Me If You Can that has Leonardo DiCaprio playing captain of like a airship?
Oh, catch me if you can.
Catch Me If You Can.
God damn it. He was a captain and he played a pilot.
Oh, he faked being a
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah. I could have sworn he was in.
No, it's Jude Law.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love Jude Law.
No, it's not even. It's not even on IM. Or here it is, but I don't think it has any reviews.
Journey to China.
Yeah, no reviews.
Wow.
This is probably one of those just movies they be making, and you know how there are actors you just see they have a credit, and you're like, when did that come out? And
Yeah,
It's just one of those.
It's one of
things.
those. Yeah. All right. So now it's time for a regular segment on the show. Up next, we're going to do... Can you go for that? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, can you? Oh, can you go for that? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, can you? Can you go for that? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, can you? Can you go for that? Can you go for that? Can you go for that? On this segment, we take a look at a bunch of rumored or unsubstantiated reboot news, and we go around and we give our scores of can we go for that? So each of us will give our score. I can go for that or I can't go for that. We're going to briefly run through the stories, and then we'll go through and ask everybody whether or not they can go for it.
All right.
That was a very clumsy way of... I'll get better at
I
introducing
definitely
this.
can't go for that
I'll
introduction.
Wow.
I'll get better at introducing this.
We're baby stepping.
This is our first segment. First one, there's a Bride of Frankenstein reboot starring Angelina Jolie, reportedly in development at Universal. Universal's cooking up a Bride of Frankenstein reboot with Amy Pascal on board to produce. The studio has had the movie on the back burner for quite some time now. So far, there are not many details about the project available, but the studio is looking for Pascal to do something different with the upcoming reboot. Pascal is yet to comment on the matter. As for who could star in the movie, insiders have claimed for years that Angelina Jolie wants to take on the role. Angelina Jolie reportedly will only star in The Bride of Frankenstein if the right creative team is in place.
Bride of Frankenstein and the Immaculate Emancipation of the Bride.
Kelby, tweet out you want to direct.
Yeah, it's okay.
What company is this?
And then Angelina Jolie's like, I'm on board.
I'm on board. Quick clarification.
Universal.
The Bride of Frankenstein, did he bring he was like, I did the first one so well, and it didn't turn out bad at all. I'm going to create a wife for myself. Is that how the story goes for The Bride of Frankenstein? Or did somebody else make The Bride of Frankenstein not realizing that it's the monster?
No, he created the bride for the monster to basically be like give him thinking like, oh, if I give him
Something to love.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so again, what I'm saying, so her name is Bride then.
it's the bride.
Gotcha. Okay. Because
Bride of Frankenstein is just basically a movie title. It's just
Yeah.
for marketing because the
well, that's what I always
the thing
get
that
mad at.
pretentious fans like to point out is that the monster is not called Frankenstein. He's
not
Frankenstein's
pretentious.
monster.
It's like he's his son, so he's also a Frankenstein. You know what I mean? Because it's not
Don't overthink it.
Frankenstein.
So Kirk,
I
Oh, yeah.
can't go for that.
Oh.
I'm not that interested in horror or classic horror. And Angelina Jolie, who is fine. I'm not a huge fan, so this is all kind of like, oh, okay, for someone else. I can't go for that.
I can go for that. I think it makes sense casting Angelina Jolie, me as a director.
I mean, that's a good combo right there.
Yeah, and since she's been doing the kind of darker content with Maleficent, and she just kind of has that facial feature, just like
Casting wise, yes.
yeah, casting wise,
Yeah,
it just makes
perfect.
sense.
Yeah.
I guess it would just have to be really well written for me to care to go watch it. But
And direct it.
And
I
directed.
mean,
yeah.
listen, look, man, if they ask me to direct it, they know I got a pen and script. I mean, but
Mindset.
Mindset.
but yeah, I guess so. I don't see the problem with it. Will I go watch it? Will I be enticed to go watch it?
Can I pause for a second? So you're contradicting yourself. You
Yeah.
can go for it, but you're not going to go see it.
I can go for it being made.
He can go for it, but he's not here for it.
Oh my God, Kelby.
okay, I'm establishing rules.
Yes,
now.
please. You're missing the whole point of this, Kelby.
This segment can never be from a business perspective.
That's not what I'm saying.
This segment
That
is
is exactly what you're saying.
This segment has nothing to do with that. This segment is 100%. Do you want to see this? That is it.
Oh, okay.
That is the
That is
parameters
yeah.
of this segment.
right.
From this point on,
So knowing those parameters,
I'm so in the middle.
Why are you riding the fence? I'm just gonna give it
Because I kind of don't care, but it also sounds kind of cool.
look into your heart.
I probably can go for that. I think on a very specific night, I'd go for that.
That's exhausting.
I can't go for that. I don't care. I want as much as it is perfect casting. I just rather her just post pictures for Halloween or something, and then put this effort into making a good Frankenstein movie.
Damn, objectification.
What?
I just learned that word.
You just let that fuck off.
for me, it's a little bit more complicated than just one or the other. So
You see?
God damn
you're not
it!
al-
see?
wait
You're
a
not
minute.
allowed.
You got all up in my butt.
let me explain. No, I didn't get all through your butt. I said never would I do that. I said you can't. This is about your opinion on whether you want to see it, not whether like, oh, the market conditions.
I never said
projected
that.
No, but you
Q4.
did said you're good with it being made, but you don't want to
Yeah,
see
you
it.
don't.
I
wanna see
don't
it.
know if I want to see it because it sounds good, but I'm like, would I go out of my way to see it? I don't know.
So, the Universal stable of monsters is one of my favorite properties ever. I love all of the old Universal monster movies.
Yeah, name 'em all.
Well, I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's Dracula, Frankenstein,
Godzilla.
the Wolfman. No, that's a different thing.
Oh, oops.
The Mummy, the Invisible Man, and then all of the offshoots of that. The Curse. The Bride of Frankenstein, and all these things. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love them. It's just they're some of my favorite things. Grew up watching these movies, and they definitely informed a lot of my own like sensibilities as a person who's both creatively and also just the things that I like to watch. The Bride of Frankenstein is great. The 1935 movie is a great movie. Now, in the recent years, with Universal trying to do this monster universe where they've tried to do a reboot of The Mummy and then Dracula and like put them all into one universe, like it's largely been a huge failure. I mean, Dracula Untold sucked. The Mummy movie with Tom Cruise fucking sucked.
Is that the one with Russell Crowe as well? Right?
I don't know. I didn't even see it.
Oh, okay.
How you know it sucked?
I don't mean like, I just mean in terms of like it bombed and it was a critically panned.
From a
I'm just,
business perspective.
If I'm right, in that Mummy
Facts.
movie, they tried to make Russell Crowe Jekyll and Hyde as well. Like they tried to stuff more things into it.
I'm sure they probably did try
Yeah.
to set that up. So people hated that. Didn't look interesting to me from the trailer at all. Dracula Untold I did see, and that fucking sucked. And then that Frankenstein movie with
Frankenstein.
with Two-Face.
Yeah.
That was terrible. So they've been trying to do this like dark universe, and it's just completely failed. So if this movie was being made in that context of like, okay, here's another movie in this like dark universe thing we're trying to do, and if it was a similar attempt at it as like the Mummy movie, as Dracula Untold, then like I definitely can't go for that. Also, I really, Angelina Jolie being the Bride of Frankenstein, I really can't go for that either. However,
All right.
so they have the new they have the Invisible Man movie coming out
With Elizabeth
Moss, and it's written and directed by Lee Winnell, who he created Saw. He was co-writer of Saw. He wrote the Insidious movies. He directed like the second and third one. I haven't seen it yet, obviously, because it's not out. But that movie looks fucking great, and it looks like they were basically like, this dark universe thing isn't working out, so let's just like give this to like a smaller director and let him make some kind of like different little small thing. And that movie looks fucking amazing. I want to see it so bad.
Quick question. What is the difference between that Invisible Man and the Kevin Bacon Invisible Man?
That's Hollow Man.
Oh!
Hollow Man is great. Hollow Man is directed by Paul Verhoeven, which is one of my favorite directors of all time. Hollow Man is great. That movie's great. But that movie is inspired by the Invisible Man. That's not the Invisible Man.
I've been thinking it was the Invisible Man this entire time, and it's been the Hollow Man. So my point's not valid at all.
But the Invisible Man movie with Elizabeth Moss looks great. So if they were able to like make a cinematic universe of Universal monster movies like in that vein, and if this was similar in kind of tone and to that, then like I could definitely go for that.
I feel like
But
you're
if they
not
try to-
giving a full answer.
But if they try to make it as this big thing in the vein of like those higher tier Universal movies that they're trying to make that have all just kind of failed and flopped, then I can't go for that. So it really depends on like how they're attempting to make it.
I feel like I want a definitive answer.
I don't think he can go for it.
I feel like you can't go for it. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I can't go for it depending on the circumstance.
Yeah.
It seems you're more leaning towards can't go for it.
I mean, they're probably going to try to make this as like a big thing in the vein of those other ones. So if that's the case, then I have no interest in it.
All right.
But recently, who did the first Mummy, the real Mummy?
The one with
Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser said he.
First of all, that's not the first mummy.
I know it's not the first.
Boris
mummy.
Karloff.
It's the only one that matters, though.
No.
Boris Karloff is and will for always be Frankenstein. I don't care to see him wrapped up in toilet paper as the mummy. Okay, I like Boris Karloff as what I first saw him in, and I don't want to ruin it with anything else. It ruins it. I've seen clips of the mummy that that Boris Karloff was in or whatever, and it's not as good as Frankenstein.
Damn.
Him as Frankenstein.
You ever wonder why he's the
Don't
least
make
liked?
I'm the least liked person on the podcast.
The Mummy is as seminal as the Frankenstein movies, and they came out around the same time.
I gave you
For
the
those who
reason.
didn't see,
he
he
wasn't as
shrugged.
compelling. I don't want to see him as two different monsters.
You don't like to see people acting.
I mean,
Thank you.
all those actors like they crossed over. Like Bela Lugosi, who's like the most definitive Dracula. He also played Frankenstein. Like they all crossed over and played the different characters.
I'm sorry that I don't live up to your standards. I just would rather. I don't know what we're getting at.
What do you even?
I lost track of what I was getting at.
For the
now
most
because
part,
we got onto that.
For the most part, we can't go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
The next
God
one.
damn it, Brendan Fraser.
Those movies are great though. Well, the first two.
Mm-hmm.
Sony reportedly wants Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man.
No.
Hang on.
As good a job as Tom Holland is doing on his own, Spider-Man fans would love to see him team up with his predecessors as Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Following the animated Spider-Verse movie introducing the concept of multiple Spideys to audiences, it really doesn't seem that far-fetched that a union of the three wall crawlers could happen, and it appears that Sony is keen on the idea. According to sources, Sony is apparently raring to go with a live-action Spider-Verse film. And yes, the plan would be for it to feature Holland, Maguire, and Garfield. Interestingly, though, we're hearing that the studio is particularly focused on getting Garfield involved again. Maybe they feel like they owe him after his Amazing Spider-Man franchise was cut short when they made a deal with with Marvel to reboot the character in the MCU. So basically, this rumor is that Sony is kicking around the idea of doing a live-action Spider-Verse movie. And if you haven't seen it, Into the Spider-Verse is an animated movie that Sony came out. It's the best Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. And it's loosely based on a series of crossover comics between the mainline Marvel Universe Spider-Man and then the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, Miles Morales as Spider-Man, where Peter Parker Spider-Man from the main universe has come into the Ultimate Universe and they've teamed up. And they made this movie sort of loosely based on that. And it's about Peter Parker from the main Spider-Man universe coming into the Ultimate Spider-Man universe and meeting Miles Morales, who is the Ultimate Spider-Man. And then other Spider-Mans from different universes come in and they all team up to fight Kingpin and Dr. Octopus. And so now they're talking about doing that as a live-action movie where essentially Tom Holland's Spider-Man would team up with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. But if they did this movie would not work without them also bringing Miles Morales into the mix. So then they got to get a Miles Morales and do that, a live-action Miles Morales.
We all know who it should be.
Nope, because he's way too old now.
Who do you think?
You think Tobey Maguire can continue playing Spider-Man, but you can't bring in somebody who's just as old as him?
Miles Morales is a teenager.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Sorry.
Who'd you have in mind?
There was a bit.
Childish Gambino, obviously.
Yeah,
Alright.
He's the only person.
that's the thing is like
Miles Morales is half Hispanic.
But that's the thing though is in the like years and years ago before they rebooted Spider-Man and made the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
With Andrew Garfield, there was a huge campaign
for
Donald Glover to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then it obviously didn't happen. And then he went on to voice Miles Morales in some of the animated movies, and then also in was it Homecoming?
It was Homecoming.
Oh yeah, but in that one he played Miles Morales' uncle as a cameo.
In what?
In Homecoming.
In
Homecoming?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
He did?
Yeah.
Didn't he play a guy with a gun? Or like a thief or something?
Yeah, but he's playing Miles Morales' uncle. Miles Morales' uncle in the comics is the Prowler, who's he's basically a gangbanger who starts working for Kingpin. And he's basically like he wears this costume and he has like claws and he rides a motorcycle. And in Homecoming, Donald Glover is playing a character that's like loosely referencing that because when he catches them, he's like, oh, I got a nephew that lives over there. So he's kind of like it was like a wink and the nod of like, oh, this is Miles Morales' uncle.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
His character's half Latino?
Yeah, his name is Miles Morales.
Yeah, his dad's black and his mom is Puerto Rican.
Oh, I thought I'm dumb. Sorry. Which one's the 2099 character?
I think he's fully like Cuban or something like that.
I'm confused. My bad. But I was gonna bring this up last time we were talking about Spider-Man because there's like a YouTube channel talking about it now, but I wish I had said it before.
Oh, he's Mexican.
Oh, but in the Morbius trailer, they have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on a poster. And now Morbius put out more pictures of the set, and it's the Daily Bugle from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It's not the new one where it's like a blog posting place. So I wish I had brought it up, but I think they are going to do this, and I think that's how they're going to get it in. I think they're going to use the Multiverse of Madness to tie in Morbius to the Marvel Universe, and then have all three Spider-Mans. That'd be cool.
They could do it, and it would. They can pretty much do anything because of the way the established rules of the comics is like there's all these different continuities, and they can all cross over basically by whatever logic that they create.
Yeah, and then ultimately it kind of leads them towards a phase where they could do the big crossover event with Doom. It's not Crisis. That's a DC thing. It's where all of the good and bad guys get put onto one planet in one universe, and they all have to fight each other. And it's all led by Dr. Doom.
I forget. I don't know.
I'll look it up. I'll put it in the comments if you guys really want to know. But I'm here for it. Sorry.
I can't go for that. Too many Spider-Man. Too many. I don't want all those. I don't want all those Spideys. Give me just one. I like Spider-Man. I will eventually see Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
You got arachnophobia?
No, it's too much. Too much. I don't want to have to think about who's from where and who.
They have different costumes, buddy.
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. It's too many Spideys.
That's fair.
Well, maybe you wouldn't like Spider-Verse then.
Wait, there's like 7 Spider-Man in it.
Oh, yeah, boy.
I can't really go for that. It just sounds like they kind of ran out of ideas, and I don't ever want to see Andrew Garfield.
Whoa!
In another Spider-Man movie. He's fine in whatever else he does.
Y'all let Jamie Foxx really ruin those movies for you because Andrew
do
Garfield's amazing.
No, he didn't make sense to me as Spider-Man. I just was just like, to me, Spider-Man has to be that nerdy kind of like little boy, and then when he puts the costume on, he's not so much a man, but he finds like a different type of confidence in himself. So that's what the story of Spider-Man was to me. So just seeing Andrew Garfield, just such a pretty looking guy and just so cool and like all that stuff, I was cool? Just like, man,
that's all. Okay, that's what people say. That's like the consensus there is that he's just too suave and good looking.
I didn't see him, but
Tobey Maguire
cool?
is far more good looking than he is, as Andrew Garfield is. And Tobey Maguire is a nerd for 3 minutes in the original movie, and then he's fucking jacked. He looks amazing.
I don't know what you're interested in, but Tobey Maguire looks like garbage.
You're insane.
So so I can't go for that.
Okay. I definitely can go for that. I'm here. I'm always here for it. I say bring back fucking Eric Foreman as Venom from that universe too.
He has a real name.
I can't remember it for the fucking life of me. Topher Grace. Thank you. I loved it all. I loved that entire thing.
You like Spider-Man 3?
I like Spider-Man 3.
All right, it tells me something about you.
And I liked both Andrew Garfield Spider. I think I'm just here for Spider-Man.
Okay. I definitely can go for that. There is never too many Spider-Men.
Too many Spider-Man.
There can be as many Spider-Men as possible, and it will never be enough Spider-Man.
I feel like it lessens the importance of the Spider-Man when you have multiple Spider-Men.
You don't get
no,
it.
because they're all different and unique. Like Miles,
can they do different stuff?
Yeah, Miles Morales can shoot electricity, and he can turn invisible.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. He can shoot electricity. Is it electric spider webs?
He just shoots electricity.
It's like a shock.
And
Then that's not a spider.
He's an eel spider.
He still does the same thing as every other. Okay, so in each universe, the spider that turns them into the Spider-Man, or even sometimes not a spider, is a different version of the spider, giving them separate individual powers.
yeah, there's a version of Spider-Man that was created by Gerard Way. It's a Japanese girl. Her name is Penny Parker, and she actually doesn't get bit by the spider, or maybe she does. I forget. But she's a young Japanese girl, and then she wears a big spider robot mech, and the spider robot mech is controlled by the actual spider, which is her friend. It's her sidekick, and she can. She does get bitten by the spider because she can communicate with the spider, and the spider lives inside of the robot, and it controls the robot, and then she gets inside the robot and fights bad guys.
It's just
So all the
it's too
Spider-Men
much.
are different, and then there's like Spider. They're all different.
Even though I appreciate that they're all different, it's too much. For
Yeah.
me. It's just too
There
much.
can never be enough Spider-Man.
But go ahead.
Andrew Garfield, I think is very underrated. As I think he was a great Spider-Man. I thought the first Amazing Spider-Man was okay. I thought the second one was terrible, but Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man was great. I never agreed with the consensus or the criticism that he wasn't nerdy enough, because I think that I don't think that type of nerd exists anymore. I don't think that's an anachronism. That type of like glasses wearing dork that gets wedgies and things like that. I don't think that's a real thing anymore. I like the things that I was into that I was like nerdy for and got like made fun of when I was a kid are popular now.
Yeah.
Like being a nerd
Agree.
has become a popular thing now. Everybody is a nerd. So there's no that doesn't exist anymore. The type of nerd.
But
that,
he doesn't have to be that. He could have just been less cool.
I just
he wasn't cool
That's
though.
what I'm
He
saying.
was,
I don't see where you think he's cool.
How they interpreted him being a nerd in those movies was that he was basically like a goody two shoes. Like he was the type of person who, whenever like the bully was like being an asshole, he would stand up to them. And so because he would stand up to them and be on the side of good, he was ostracized from the popular kids because he basically wouldn't like assuage their kind of shittiness. So that's how they interpreted that character, as being an outsider. He wasn't a nerd, like a glasses wearing nerd like Peter Parker was in the original Spider-Man, or like the first Ultimate Spider-Man comic. He was like a freak, like Freaks and Geeks. He was there's the popular kids, there's the nerds, and then there's the freaks, and he was a freak.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
And
I think he was a great Spider-Man. So I think he's underrated. I think that he, giving him his due of coming back and being in a better Spider-Man movie, I think would be great. I also love the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I love Tobey Maguire, so I'd love to see him coming back again. I think that'd be amazing, especially
I
considering
agree with that.
especially considering that they're bringing back J. Jonah Jameson and having
My man from Whiplash.
what the fuck is his name?
Miles Teller?
No,
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. They're having J.K. Simmons playing.
Oh, I thought you.
So bring Tobey Maguire back.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire can come back. He's always welcome.
Yeah.
I think this would be really cool if they did this right.
Love it.
And I'd love to see it. It would just be such an intersectional crossing of so many cool things that I think it'd just be really cool to see. But they got to get a Miles Teller, or not Miles Teller. Now you got to say Miles Teller. They got to get a Miles Morales in
Miles
here. Otherwise,
Played
What
by
if he
Miles
was a
Teller. What?
What if he was the only cartoon?
Oh,
that would be insane.
like
They
even
would,
even
that would
in
be that would be cool, but they would never do that.
Like, even in a
that's-
three-dimensional
that's too
world?
out there for like a mainline Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I can go for that, definitely. And also, so Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, he builds his web shooters and their machines. But the Tobey Maguire, well, that's the real
comic,
that's
yeah.
the real way.
No, that sucks.
No, it's actually it's way better. So
that's how Tobey Maguire found out that he had web shooters in the first one.
my friend has a philosophy about superhero costumes and how a superhero costume is supposed to tell you everything that you need to know about a character at a glance. So the reason why the man-made web shooters are better than the organic web shooters from the Sam Raimi movies is because they they show you that he is an engineer basically.
Oh,
They're indicative of the fact that he's able to create these machines and invent things. Whereas the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the fact that they're just organic, it doesn't say anything about his character because the organic web shooters are just basically given to him. They're thrust upon him. He just wakes up one day and he's a perfect fucking Spider-Man. Whereas the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or the Spider-Man from the comics, he wasn't just given these web shooters. He had to build them and make them himself. So they say more about him as a character than the organic web shooters.
I like that.
Let me ask you a quick question. What do you think about the current Spider-Man that's pretty much in an Iron Man suit?
I like the Spider-Man movies. I like Spider-Man Homecoming. Far From Home I didn't really care for that much, but I really liked Homecoming. But I don't really like the idea of him just being given the Iron Spider suit because I want to see him make his suit. I want to see him build the web shooters. I want to see him having a costume that, like I said, is more indicative of him as a character. As opposed to just being given the Iron Spider suit, which is like the Iron Spider suit is cool, but it doesn't really say anything about him at all. It's not a reflection on him as a character. Whereas like the homemade suit, the homemade web shooters, all that stuff, it speaks more to him as a character.
That was one of my things with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man when I found out the comics didn't have the organic ones. He made a costume that didn't have anything right here to let the webs out.
Nah, it'd just be opening real quick.
It was there was nothing there, and with the comic book, he had to create something that went over it, which makes more sense to me. And looking back at it, I like that.
The organic web shooters are kind of like creepy. The comic Spider-Man or Tom Holland Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, like they have super strength and they can stick to walls, but they have no like the fact that like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man like had like webs, like he's like a freak. Like
he's a freaking Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that doesn't Batman doesn't have fucking wings.
That's a different story. He didn't get bit by a bat. He got bit by some money.
Yeah, but Spider-Man gets bitten by a radioactive spider, but his powers aren't really spider-like. He has super strength and he can crawl on walls. Like those aren't like definitively spider-like qualities.
Spidey senses.
The Spidey sense. What do spiders? Can spiders sense danger? That's not a thing.
Yes, they can.
Spidologist.
Spidologist.
Yeah,
Spidologist.
All right.
Okay. But yeah, the fact that Tobey Maguire has like holes in his wrists that shoot out, like that's creepy and weird.
Awesome.
So there is an Event Horizon remake reportedly in the works with Milla Jovovich eyed to star in it. In what will surely be music to the ears of many, we're hearing today that a remake of the 1997 sci-fi horror movie Event Horizon is on the cards. This is a separate project from the recently announced TV series, we're told, and better yet, the hope is to not only get Paul W.S. Anderson back to direct, but have Resident Evil star Milla Jovovich take one of the lead roles, which is weird. It's a strange thing because Milla Jovovich is Paul W.S. Anderson's wife.
Oh,
Paul W.S. Anderson directed all the Resident Evil movies, which she stars in. But then Paul W.S. Anderson also directed the original Event Horizon, and it's pretty much the only good movie he's ever made. So it's like they're talking about a remake of Event Horizon, but directed by the same director and then starring his wife.
Okay,
yeah.
Isn't Pandorica or Pandorum a remake of this movie? Like an offshoot telling?
It's not a remake. It's just a similar story, but it's not a remake.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, Event Horizon, I love that movie, but I mean, I guess I'd like to see a remake of it. I don't know.
Which one's the one where they build a machine to talk to the aliens, like to go into warp speed? The aliens send them how to make a ship that can communicate.
The Explorers?
No, it's got fuck. She's a really good director now. She used to be an actor.
Contact?
Is that Contact?
My God.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
how are you
Contact.
comparing Event Horizon?
I
to
don't think I've
Contact?
seen Event Horizon then.
Oh my God.
Event Horizon is like a horror movie.
Your brain.
Yeah, I just read the thing and it reminded me of Pandorum.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Oh.
You're what?
I'm here for it.
So
You're
you're
what?
here for the
I'm here for it.
nepotism?
You're what?
You can
I'm
go,
here for
he
it.
can
You're
go
what?
for that.
I'm here for it.
You're what?
I am here for it.
You're what?
He
I can go for that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I know I saw Event Horizon because Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah.
And I saw it in 97.
And Sam Neill.
Yeah. Okay. I saw it in 97. And I was like, this is really good. Haven't thought about it till you just brought it up right now. But since I had such a good response to it when I first saw it in 97, I'm here for it. No, I'm not. I can go for that.
Okay.
Fooled ya.
All right.
It's a
I know-
good movie. That was a legit good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Event
entertaining.
Horizon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like you're here for nepotism.
I'm always here for nepotism.
Nice.
I know so very
That's
little.
why you're here too.
I know. I'm here, cuz.
Woo. Damn, that's one Burger King that's not getting clean right now.
That janitor job.
I don't know very much about Resident Evil and affiliate movies, but I did just Google Milla Jovovich, which is a name that I'm familiar with, but I'd never seen her. And she is so beautiful that I will watch whatever she's in. So I am here for that.
You should watch Dazed and Confused. No, never mind. You should watch The Fifth Element.
Oh, multipass.
You know what? That's a good movie
The
too.
Fifth Element's a fucking
That's a good
amazing
movie.
movie.
Yep.
I want the Sixth Element.
Is she
And
not
it's just
beautiful to you guys?
just following what's his name's character around as the flamboyant
Go back.
yeah, that guy.
Go back!
I fucking
back!
love that character. I want to see him doing like all kinds of other things.
She's not beautiful to you, Tyler?
I have no opinion about Milla Jovovich.
Well, you have face blindness.
yeah, exactly. I have face blindness. I can't see her. I can't see her face. No, I don't care. After watching her in all the Resident Evil movies, she just sucks. So,
Don't talk about my girl like
and I don't want to see her in this. I can't go for this.
that. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
Mindset.
being in a bad movie does not make you bad. Milla Jovovich is not. She doesn't suck. She's good.
What other movies has
Thank
she been
you.
in
I
that are
appreciate
good?
Dazed and Confused.
Other than
Dazed and Confused.
Married with Children.
The Fifth Element.
That's it.
Element.
I haven't. I can't remember who she is in Dazed and
Contact.
Confused. She was in Contact.
No.
I was like, she was in Contact.
She's gonna be in my next.
She.
one.
All I can remember her in is that is.
Tweet that.
She's also been in a movie called like
doing?
that is her husband, who is Edward Norton, is in jail, and then she has an affair with De Niro.
Yeah, that's a bad movie.
That's such a bad,
That's a
movie,
bad
and
movie.
she's just terrible in it. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't need to see her anything else. Damn. After watching 7 bullshit, dumbass Resident Evil movies.
Okay.
She's worth a lot of money.
All
Oh, she
these-
got a resume.
Oh yeah, she's in this movie called The Perfect Getaway, which is a weird and really good movie.
I haven't seen it. What's it about?
I don't even know how to describe it. This couple goes out on vacation.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve Zahn.
It's good.
And,
I feel like
and
good.
Timothy Oliphant.
It's a good movie.
It's a strange
Yeah,
movie.
I'm there for the cast, other
Yeah.
than Jovovich.
Yeah, I watched The Perfect Getaway with my parents, and like I just expected nothing of it because it just seemed like a type of movie my parents were into. And then I proceeded to see just one of the strangest movies.
it's a weird
it's a
one.
weird thriller.
It's good.
I feel like
I feel like you need to make amends with Milla.
no. I feel like Milla
Yeah, I
Jovovich
say the
is
same thing, too.
a generic version of Liv Tyler.
Let me go look her up. Bro.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll be knowing on them.
Yeah. So for the most part, I can go for that. I will say that like even though Paul W.S. Anderson directed the original Event Horizon, aside from that, I don't like Paul W.S. Anderson as a director. So
Did he do a Predator?
no,
He was.
He was
I'm
Predator.
just-
Well, I don't know.
I mean he directed all the Resident Evil movies. He directed that like reboot of the Three Musketeers, also starring Milla Jovovich.
You've never heard of Wes Anderson?
He directed Ultraviolet, also starring Milla Jovovich.
He's a great husband.
He's a
Yeah.
really good husband. Yeah,
Great
like,
husband.
he's real nice.
We all should be like him.
And Milla Jovovich got more money
her
than
name.
her husband.
So she's even better now.
That's what I'm saying. He gave her all the work, made her all the money. He was like, "Don't worry, you keep that money."
That's
right
why he
there."
keeps.
Oh, he
giving her the
directed
work.
he directed the first Mortal Kombat movie,
You see,
and he directed the first Alien
Thank-
versus Predator. movie.
Thank God
But
she
that movie
wasn't in that
sucks.
movie.
Liv
Yeah.
Tyler in it.
Other than Event
She looks
Horizon,
like Liv Tyler.
Yeah, she does.
I love Mortal Kombat.
Little
Like but like it's not a good movie. Other than Event Horizon,
It's not a good.
everything he's directed has just been shit.
So that means you are.
I can go for that because I like the movie and whatever. Sure, it'll probably suck, but I'll be interested in seeing it.
You and me.
I'll go.
Oh yeah. Fuck you, Tyler.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks remake reportedly in the works. Tim Burton may return. A Mars Attacks remake is being considered, and Tim Burton could return. Sources say that Warner Brothers has interest in remaking the 1996 sci-fi comedy movie, and they'd like Burton to get back behind the camera. Nothing's official as of yet. From what we're told, this would be a modern-day remake of the original, but the details we've been given are in there.
If Jack Black decides that this is his final movie, I'm there for it.
Yeah, you a hater.
Wasn't he in the
bro.
first one? Yeah, he was like one of the main characters in the first one. He would come back as he would re-atomize in front of everybody 20 years later, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then they're re-attacking, and he gets shattered again.
Why you don't want to see Jack Black shine?
I want him to retire like he wants to do. Actually, I'm supporting a boy. You know what I'm saying?
I can go for that. Same exact reason for Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah?
Saw this movie in '96, loved it. Haven't thought about it till right now, but because of the good feeling it gave me, I'm here for it.
What's the name?
I mean, I can go for that.
All right.
What's the name of the movie again?
Mom.
Mars Attacks.
Okay.
It's really funny.
It's really
okay.
it's really good.
Jack Nicholson is the president. It's great.
Oh,
Sarah Jessica Parker's in it. She's great.
Mars Attacks. Okay. Well, I didn't hear you say anything about Milla Jovovich going to be in this one, so I can't go for that.
For that reason alone.
That's it. That's my girl.
Yeah, I like it. I'm here for it. I just
No, you're not. You're.
I'm sorry. I can go for that. Other than one little caveat.
Gonna hit me with the caveats.
Yeah. Do not put your wife in this movie, Tim Burton.
He
They're
won't because he doesn't have a wife.
Yeah.
Good.
They're not together.
Whatever, your ex-wife, it doesn't matter. Do not put
Helena?
Helena.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Is that what her name is?
No.
Bonham Carter. Do
She's
not.
a good actress.
She is not a
Yes,
good
she
actress.
is.
She is.
She's
Yes,
not
she
good
is.
at anything except
Yes,
for
she
playing
is.
one character.
Yeah.
Wings
give
of a
Tyler
Dove.
First of all, that doesn't mean anything. So there are great actors who only are able to play one
All right,
character.
fine, you're right. I'm
Second
sorry.
of all,
I'm just tired of
she
seeing
is
it.
good.
She's not good.
She's great.
She is good.
She's a good actor.
No, she's not.
She is.
All right, I can go for that. Other than that one caveat.
I'll see Helena Bonham Carter in anything. She's not my favorite actress in the world, but she's
great.
she's
If I
great.
see Helena Bonham Carter on the streets,
I can't go for that for a couple reasons. Number one, Mars Attacks. I like Mars Attacks. It's kind of like Helena Bonham Carter. It's not my favorite movie in the world, but I like it a lot. But the movie exists as a strange, wonky thing. I can't imagine remaking this movie and capturing the same weird lightning in a bottle that this movie was.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I have seen
Second of-
Mexico attacks. Is what they're
Second
gonna
of
call
all, that joke is for offensive champagne.
Get that out of here, Ty.
Second of all, you can't remake a movie with the same director. What's the point?
Oh, Tim Burton did the first one too.
Yes.
Oh, that's why it's
So
so
you
good.
feel the same thing about Event Horizon?
Yeah, it's weird. That's why I said that's the one thing
Yeah.
that's kind of making me not want it because it's
Okay.
like, what is the point of remaking a movie with the same creative team? You like if it's not being if you're the idea, the concept of a remake. I mean, the business concept of
Yeah.
a remake is reintroducing a thing to a new audience and making more money off of it because people don't like to watch old stuff because they're fucking idiots. But the creative reason for remaking something is reinterpreting it with a new creative team. So what is the point of remaking a movie with the same person?
I hear what you're saying.
What's
I'm
the
trying to
problem?
think if that's happened before.
Well, he wants the opportunity to put Trump's face on something that he's gonna.
But what I'm saying is I don't think that's uncommon to have. Is it to have the original creator remake it?
Yeah,
That's happened in horror movies, right?
not really.
Really?
They
I
do
think it's
sequels
fine.
with the same
Did John
director.
Carpenter redo the
Okay.
thing?
I think it's fine because the creative team is here, so they're aware of the current climate, so they could just reimagine it a different way and just say,
Yeah,
hey,
it
you
doesn't
know
matter.
what?
Doesn't matter that
Yeah,
much.
if I made it today, what changes would I made? And then they would do it. That's fine.
Yeah, but that's kind of the antithesis to how art works. Like
Most
you're not,
of the time
you're
when
not supposed-
another team
you're not
comes
supposed
in,
to
they
get
ruin it.
You're not supposed to get infinite attempts at something. You make something, you leave it, you let it exist, and you don't return to it like that.
So say the Arch
That's not.
Commandments.
You can't make the rules.
I mean, that's not rules. It's just nothing is ever done. If you sat and obsessed over perfecting something, you would never be finished with it. You just have to be like, okay, this isn't finished, but this is where I'm going to leave it.
This is where I am at this time.
With all the flaws that it has, I'm going to let that exist. Like, you're not supposed to be able to go back and be like George Lucas it and be like, well, this would have been better if there were 7 more stormtroopers in this shot, and if the fucking honeycomb monster Max Rebo guy was like more animated and singing a different song. Like, it ruined it. People talk about ruining childhoods or whatever. If like when they remake these things, it ruins our childhood or whatever. That's not real. You can't ruin your childhood. Like, a remake of something doesn't affect the original thing that you loved.
True.
But when you go back and change something, then you are kind of ruining its legacy. And this isn't exactly the same thing as George Lucas going back and changing the Star Wars movies, but the same creative person going back and being like, I'm going to remake this and get another shot at this thing that I made. I'm not saying that you can't do that or it's dumb. I just don't see the point in it.
Okay.
And that has been... Can you go for that? Oh, 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 can you go for that? Oh, 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 can you go for that? Oh, 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 can you go for that? Can you go for that? Can you go for that? Last story. This one goes out to all the Toddays out there.
Hi, Todd.
Because I have no interest in this whatsoever, but a freak like you'd be into some shit like this.
Man, that's crazy. Don't call him that.
Wow.
There's a Batman restaurant opening in London.
I have so much to say about this.
DC fans will soon be able to eat at a Batman-themed restaurant. The establishment is called Park Row and will be opening in the Soho area of London. The Wonderland Restaurant Group has partnered with DC on the project, which will let comic book fans eat in Gotham for a night, while trying food and drinks named after some of the most iconic characters of all time. However, the name of the restaurant is a bit of the on the dark side, since it comes from the spot where Bruce Wayne's parents were brutally murdered. Park Row will offer an immersive experience for Batman fans. The 18,000 square foot basement location is made up of 5 restaurants and 3 bars, and will have many references to the Dark Knight. Whoa. The Pennyworth's restaurant, which is obviously named after Bruce Wayne's butler Alfred, will serve British sharing dishes, while the Penguin's Iceberg Lounge will offer an international food menu and feature live entertainment. Harley Quinn is getting her own amasake restaurant, and a cocktail bar, Old Gotham City, will be available too. It is described as a villainous speakeasy.
Do you mean amakase?
Whatever.
Okay.
Wow, man.
You say that as if
Somebody's
I...
culture.
No.
even
It's just because you
know-
said amasake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to taste like shit.
Why?
It's going to, because it's a theme restaurant. It's too many restaurants to manage. So
I think it's more of a theme park with a bunch of restaurants in
no,
it.
it's 5 restaurants.
Right, but they're not all one restaurant.
No, but there's 5 different restaurants, all pretty much being managed by one group. So there will be different chefs and stuff like that.
That's fair.
But it's the cheesecaking factory of a restaurant.
I want to see the Kitchen Nightmare episode where Gordon Ramsay's like, this fucking Robin burger
Right?
tastes like shit.
Yeah. And
Makes me want to kill my parents.
my biggest objection is that they're doing here's my question. Okay.
Essence.
An amakase restaurant is basically a Japanese restaurant.
I wonder why they didn't give Bane a restaurant.
Or Austin Powers. Yeah, say it. Say yeah, baby. Say it.
Tune in next time for the Nostalgicast. If
When,
you want to subscribe to this Nostalgicast,
when this sirloin steak is in ashes, then you have my permission to
I
eat.
actually
Wait, no,
prefer
finish- no,
rare,
finish
so
your
please
thought.
don't.
I'm trying to finish my thought. I got interrupted
Oh boy.
by a weak Bane imitation.
Damn.
Um,
I gotta fight.
okay. But I do have a question.
Uncalled for.
Does Harley Quinn have anything to do with Japanese culture?
Yeah, in kind of a
Okay.
weird way.
Okay.
Colors.
I think that character is just associated with this kind of like weird Japanese cultural appropriative vibe.
So isn't it worse doing this?
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Like she's kind of like in some of the comics and things, she's sort of like presented in that like she wears like fashion that's kind of inspired by that like Shibuya Japanese Lolita kind of fashion trend.
Okay, but she's obviously not Japanese.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem. But also, an omakase restaurant is typically a sushi restaurant that's very small. And omakase it translates to whatever you like. So basically, you're going in there and you're going, chef, make whatever you are going to make for me. I will eat it.
Have you watched The Midnight Diner?
No.
You got to watch it.
Okay. I will.
It's on Netflix. There's 2 seasons.
I'm going to check it out.
You'll fucking love that.
I can't wait. So a chain restaurant that is typically a tiny restaurant where you go to a sushi bar and interact with the sushi chef and you are literally just taking what he feels like giving you in seasonal, that doesn't work for a chain restaurant. That's horrible.
this is one. This is one.
I know. And that's one wrong thing to put in a chain restaurant.
What? What are you talking about? A chain restaurant?
I mean, I'm sorry, a theme restaurant.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's 5
Okay.
restaurants. I meant
God, I thought
a
you-
theme
okay.
restaurant. My mistake.
I think it would make more sense for the penguin to be this, just because like the ice theme, like the like it could be cold in there, and the sushi would stay better in a penguin themed restaurant. I think
Can't even.
it's not.
Can't even.
I feel like it's less appropriative, right? Like it's
true.
I think it's an interesting idea. Here in LA, they had a Breaking Bad experience restaurant.
That was a pop up though, right?
Dude loves talking about any chance he gets to see Bryan Cranston.
He wasn't there.
Oh,
but it was a pop up, right?
Yeah, well, it was like an experience for like a month. I think.
Yeah, it's a pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this one like here to stay?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Batman? Oh,
Seemingly.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess then that
Seems
just,
too elaborate to be a pop-up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Too
I
much
see.
money.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems. I don't know. That's kind of a weird idea now that I think about it. If it was only here for a limited time, then I guess that'd be cool. But like, I never thought about Batman and thought like, oh, maybe I'd want to eat in Gotham or something like
it's
that.
an odd concept. And
You
it's
know,
in
yeah.
London. Like
If it were because
Gotham is supposed to be like basically
York.
Chicago. Like
Yeah.
it'd make
Or
more sense if it
Chicago?
was in Chicago.
Oh, I thought it was New York. But
No, Metropolis is New York and Gotham is Chicago.
oh,
I didn't know that.
Superman's New York. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did
Did
I
not
had
know
no,
that.
I didn't know that at all. I thought, oh, okay, but I would much rather eat in like a Marvel universe place because the colors are brighter and the characters are slightly friendlier. But I guess so. You know, if I were to open up a Batman themed restaurant, I would probably serve like pizza or like steak sandwiches or something a little bit more like gritty. But
What do you think, Todd?
I can't.
what?
This conversation about food with you
Seems
guys.
like a
What?
very odd concept.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just Batman.
This makes sense.
Is
to you,
weird.
Todd? I mean, not Todd.
It-
Kirk.
They could have done like a DC sort of thing where feel like Batman specifically is
Yeah.
just a little too much.
Yeah, it's strange.
Maybe as a pop up, like you're saying, but
I could see
Yeah.
it.
they-
permanent,
I feel like they
it just
really
seems
missed
like
the
I don't
opportunity.
see this being around 15 years from now.
Yeah.
They're going to jack up the price on those items so hard.
Wait, so are you a fan of this? I'm a little confused.
No,
by you right
I
now.
hate it. I hate it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you agreeing or disagreeing with me?
I was
Kelby was
I'm
like,
sorry.
jack up prices. That sounds good.
No,
I this is going to sound awful. I hate this idea for this restaurant, and I hated your idea for the food that was going to replace it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It sounded a lot worse.
Yeah.
But
So-
that's. I feel like that's what's complimentary.
Pizza for Batman?
Because I thought Gotham was in New York, so I was
That's
thinking
a
like
Ninja Turtles restaurant.
I was thinking like like
see?
slimy
Right.
New York food, like dollar pizza and stuff like that. That's what I meant by that.
Okay.
You know, culturally.
Okay.
I mean, if it was pizza, it's gonna be deep dish. Which, by the way,
It's not pizza. It's gross.
that's so wrong in all the ways. Kirk,
yes.
have you been to Gino's East?
The one here?
Yes.
Not yet. We're going.
We went there the other night.
Fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah, it's legit. It's from the original Gino's
Yeah,
East.
if you like pizza soup,
This is why you will never be on the food podcast.
I want to.
You got to go to Gino's East.
We're going to Gino's East. That's a plan.
We went there the other night. It was amazing.
Was it crowded?
It was. But they're smart because they're right now it's dine in only. That's why it's so busy because it's like you can't take out.
Smart. All right, sorry. We'll save that for the food podcast. That Tyler's not allowed on.
All right, so I guess even from Todd, This is a bad idea.
This is a bad idea.
Yeah, it's,
Even from Todd.
yeah,
that's weird.
I do not understand this at all.
Not at all.
But instead of going to this Batman restaurant, go to Gino's East, which is not.
Yeah, don't fly to
it's-
London.
It's not the best deep dish pizza, but it's the only one we got here.
Yeah, it's all you got in Chicago or in LA.
Is it really?
There's one
In terms of authentic
yeah,
ones.
there's one in Los Feliz, which I can't remember the name of them, but they use a cornmeal crust.
Yeah,
which
masa.
Masa. But a cornmeal crust is not Chicago style.
And there used to be Taste Chicago, which was terrible. It was
Joe Mantegna's.
Joe Mantegna's
Yeah.
deep dish restaurant,
I met him.
which I
Montaigne?
yeah,
Joe Montana.
not Joe Montana, Joe Mantegna. He's an actor,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
which I thought was good until I had real.
Yeah.
I went to Chicago and had Giordano's, and then I was like,
great.
Taste Chicago fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening. If you like this and you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. You also might want to rate the show. Give us a 5-star rating and a little blurb about what you liked about the show. If you have a friend who might be interested in the show, go ahead and share it with them. If you want to keep up to date with the podcast and other nostalgia content we do on a daily basis, you can go to our Facebook page, the official Nostalgia Facebook page. You can also join our Facebook group, the official Nostalgia Facebook group. You can follow us on Instagram @Nostalgia. We post cool and interesting nostalgia content on a daily basis on all those channels. If you have any comments, any thoughts, anything you might want to have read on the show, you can email us at nostalgicastpod@gmail.com. NOSTALGICASTPOD. I feel so alive @gmail.com.
That's POD.
If you want to support us in a more monetary way, you can become a supporter. If you go to the Facebook page, Nostalgia on Facebook, go to the top, there's a button that says Become a Supporter. For $4.99 a month, not only are you supporting the podcast, but you also get access to exclusive bonus content, episodes, and videos that nobody else has access to.
Thanks for listening.